So we gotta find your drive.
Yeah, we have to go.
Want me to go over
Yeah,
there?
go.
Yeah, bring it
go
over.
there,
Okay.
please. Yeah.
I'll say we usually don't have
We
to
don't
sign
sign
that.
it, 'cause they take a look at it.
He's asking us questions. What's that?
Well, you need to update because there you go.
Take this shirt off the way. I'm sweating.
I guess it came early.
Yep.
Huh?
I guess it
Somebody's
came
gotta
early.
watch me. Somebody's gotta watch me, make sure I'm up for the re-election. I better be good.
Wonder who
Who's
said it.
running against Jared?
I
This
don't
one is
think so,
too
but there
hard.
might be ratings.
This one was too low.
Everyone's phone on silence.
Yes, sorry.
Is that your cord or is it one's lazier? It's-
Well, technically, it's the counties that came with a tablet. You can use it. if-
No, no, I just was wondering if I needed it,
She just going around.
if it was just sat here all the time.
No,
Morning, Glory.
usually you need a cord. Usually it's in the
Or
cord.
over there.
But I saved the one for my, when they gave us the.
Yep, that one. We have a couple of people entering, so we're gonna wait to start the meeting till we can get everybody comfortably seated. The sign-in sheet is going around somewhere. We'll find it, get it to you.
I don't care.
Should have planned this for the courtroom.
All right, welcome, everybody. It is April 20th at 9:31. Will everybody please rise for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next, we have the approval of the agenda. I was asked to add zoning also onto the agenda. Anybody have anything else to add to the agenda? If not, can I get a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Josh to approve the agenda with the addition of the zoning. Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Rod. Any discussion? Any discussion?
No, but we may, I don't, did we get that on there about? Oh, yeah.
It's on there.
It's on there.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Okay, barring none.
Yeah.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. We're going to open the floor here for a public comment. If anybody has any public comments to go. Everything.
Says they got an arrow out against any of us.
Being there's no public comment, we'll move on for the minutes. If you guys want to take a minute to review the minutes, I'll look for a motion.
Did we approve that project this last meeting or the meeting before?
We approved a grant to
Yeah.
one of the grants for the Brad Willow Road.
Was that
Now
last
we're-
meeting?
That was last meeting.
Yeah, now
We
we're,
have that in the,
Well, we're waiting to hear back on the other grant and we're going from there, from what I understand.
Sure.
Oh, I thought we.
Am I right about that, Wayne?
Vote on that?
Did you read the minutes?
I didn't see it in there. I was just wondering if it should have been.
All right,
Maybe my eyes are deceiving me too.
You guys approved, the one grant funds,
The Red Willow,
and then those two agreements,
which agreements?
for KLJ, and then that one for the Garrison pipeline. So no projects were approved.
The contract, right? The contract agreement?
Is it a contract agreement?
Yeah, the contract too.
I thought
It was
we-
at
I
a
thought we
mutual
made a
agreement
motion
on
to-
where we're
To
at.
approve this. The state approved money for it, and I thought we
Yeah.
approved.
You made
That-
a motion to approve
Yeah.
the going forward with it, with little project.
That's what I thought.
Do
Should that be on
Last year.
or not?
you want me to redo the minutes? Go back.
Well, I read the minutes here,
Okay.
but I was wondering if we needed to include it in the minutes. Doesn't matter to me, but we did make that motion.
Red Willow.
Jamie?
Do you want to table these minutes until the next meeting? And I can bring
Yeah,
them
we could
back?
do that. Yeah, we could want to. Yeah.
okay, so the minutes will be, the correction will be added and re-reviewed in the next meeting.
Thank you.
No problem. All right,
Thought it should be in there.
No, that's perfect.
good catch. Okay, next on the agenda is the bills. Please review the bills. And as always, our question, Sam, anything out of the ordinary on here that isn't in regular operating expense that we usually have?
I do have one that I didn't put in your thing, and it's for the Axon. It's $7,542.96. This was agreed to come out of the COVID funds, but we kind of went really fast with those funds, so wondering what you would like to do with those.
Is that the sheriff's cameras on? That's what it is?
I think it's the
Right.
tasers,
What is that?
tasers and cameras.
What was the price?
$7,542.96.
You got money for it?
Not in the COVID funds, not in those funds that it was.
When we did the budget for the COVID funds, we were supposed to over budget with the thought that if we saved funds somewhere, we would move on to the next one. Well, when we budgeted, everybody got excited and purchased everything, even the over budget, so we end up overspending what we had in that fund. So with that being said, we do need to find a place to. Tasers were approved, but we have no funds for it. So the question is, where are we gonna pull the funds to pay for these tasers?
And I
Correct?
do know that when Mike was here, he kind of had a plan as to how he wanted to pay for these, but I can't remember.
I think he was gonna work into his budget every year.
I think so too, but
It never got done.
and so here. So I just didn't know what account you wanted this to be taken out of.
Could we take it all the
We
emergency?
do have that other 100,000 of LA.
LACTF,
And we can use that.
yes.
And that's part of, well, that, I shouldn't say that's not COVID funds, but it was part of all
It
that.
was kind
It was
of,
during the time,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah, I mean,
So is that a motion to
uh,
use LACTF funds to pay for the tasers for this year?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Josh, any second?
I'll second that one.
Second by Scott. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any other discussion? Rod? Motion, vote?
Aye.
Scott?
I,
Josh?
Aye.
Lauren?
Aye.
Stephanie votes aye, motion carries. Okay. Any other questions on the bills?
The advanced business, what, did we get a copier for my fence business,
No, that's just your lease payment for the printers that we have.
all of them.
Yep.
That's a yearly lease.
I wonder if it's set for quarterly.
I think it's quarterly.
I think that's right.
I believe it was set for a quarterly payment. But it's in the budget,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was quarterly.
you know. The Axon is on our expense list.
That was a different.
Okay. All right. I'll be looking for a motion to approve the expenses.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Scott. Can I get a second?
Oh, I'll second it.
Second by Josh. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Barring none, we'll do a roll call vote. Rod,
Aye.
Scott,
I,
Josh,
All right.
Lauren,
Aye.
Stephanie votes aye, motion carried. Next on our agenda is Pat Hansen, Senior Citizens Mill Levy Regulations. Where is Pat?
I don't have her on yet.
Didn't she say she could come by
Yeah, we
Zoom?
know.
I did talk to her and she said that she was gonna be here, but I don't have her right now.
Okay.
If you,
you want to come back to her or you want to, Jamie, do you do some research on that for me? You were talking a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll come back if she's going to be around. Do you want to, okay, but she's gonna have to wait because if we move on to Sheriff Michaelis, it's a good presentation.
That's fine.
Are you ready?
So ready.
Okay, we'll get her to share her screen and this button there puts it right and left. Yeah, get closer. Why don't you go right up to there?
Well, I'm going. Good morning, everyone.
I think I turned it on. Did it work?
here you go.
The right button? Nothing.
It's going.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, we're going. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Today we are gonna go over the request for an additional deputy for the sheriff's office. I will explain in here what we currently do and what we're asking for. So it got a little lengthy, so just kind of bear with me here. All right, the purpose today is to review current staffing and workload realities, present the impacts to operations, community, and the deputies, outline the risk and financial considerations, and the objective is the request for approval for an additional deputy. Our current staffing, we have 1 sheriff and 2 deputies. My deputies are here today. So we have total of 3 people in the county that covers 24 hours, 24/7, every minute of the day. The workload reality. Deputies right now are currently scheduled for 60 hours a week. That's 60 hours straight time, no overtime. We are federally exempt from any overtime, so they only get overtime after 60. So 60 hours a week they're scheduled. I am scheduled for 48 hours a week. Now, right away, that might not sound fair, but just bear with me. The sheriff covers all vacations, all sick leave, all training, lots of call outs, anything that comes up, because if I have something come up with one of these 2, someone has to cover, but that second deputy's already working 60 hours a week. Okay, we have a $12,000 budgeted overtime that goes for call outs, sick, vacation, outside agency help. So anything I can't cover is what our $12,000 covers. Can you guys see? Okay, we cover 708 square miles, 2,306 residents. We don't have municipal police department, meaning we don't have city police like Cooperstown Police or anyone else in the county that can help us. Our backup is roughly 45 minutes away if we get any. Our backup usually comes from Steele County, but they also have 1 person, so if they're available, comes from one of us at home. We can call the troopers. Generally, they're down by the interstate. They do help us as much as they can, but they like to be down by the interstate. So we're kind of alone up here. Okay, operational demands. We have roughly 180 to 275 calls a month. Average 280 civil service papers a year. So every time I get a civil service paper in, we handle it 4 times. We get it in, gotta process it, it goes out for service, comes back in, have to process it, and then we have to send it up. So every paper is handled 4 times. We as officers have mandatory training, 75 hours a month, every 3 years. I believe only 20 of that can be done online. So that right there forces us usually to go to Bismarck. So while someone's in Bismarck for a few days, somebody has to cover. We have several court hearings every month. We have high traffic on Highway 1 and 200. No canines and limited troopers, as I said, they're usually down by the interstate. We do get them occasionally, but they usually like to play by the interstate. We try to do our best with community service and outreach. We do have the Garrison pipeline coming. That is estimated 1,000 trucks in and 1,000 trucks out per mile. So that's gonna be a heavy workload right there, watching them trucks. The closest jail is 45 minutes. So we either go to Valley City or Jamestown. So every time we have an arrest, that's about a 3-hour deal. So somebody has to cover. So every time, if Danny's gone to jail, she has to call one of us to say, hey, I'm out of the county, can you please cover? We also have Cooper Days, Binford Days, PBR, Hannaford Days, also several weddings, events for events and security. So in the summers, it's safe to say every weekend we have something, or it takes more than one person. Okay, this is just an example of calls per month for the month of March. We had 219 calls for service. All right, this is digging into a little bit more of our current scheduled hours. So as I said, right now, the deputies are scheduled for 60 hours a week. They do not get paid overtime. So if they were to get paid overtime based on a standard 40-hour work week, they each work 20 hours overtime per week per deputy. If they were paid on a 40-hour work week, they would both have 20 hours overtime. So that's 1,040 hours a year per deputy that they're working over 40 hours. So if that was paid, my chief deputy would be paid $46,000 a year. And my other deputy would be paid roughly $43,000. So that's a total of basically $90,000. We're kind of stealing from them because they're working so many hours. However, like I said, we're federally exempt from overtime, so we don't have to pay that. We do pay over 60. We don't have to, we do, or we wouldn't have a person working here. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay. So now we're gonna get into sick and vacation coverage. They each earn 8 hours sick per month and 8 hours of vacation per month. If I was to pay that out, that would cost me $16,444. Hence the reason I have to cover their sick and vacation, because we can't afford to have the other person come in and work it. Also, holiday coverage, I believe there's 12 and a half holidays we get paid for. That's $6,424 a year. If they were to work the holidays, I try to work majority of the holidays so we don't have to pay that because I don't have it in my budget to pay. So that's total, just right there, roughly $23,000 a year. Is why I work the 48 hours a week so I can cover for that because we don't have the money to do it. My budgeted overtime is $12,000. That leaves us roughly $11,000 short. And this also does not include the overtime I pay these guys over 60, because oftentimes they work, there's really not too many weeks that go by that they don't work over 60 hours. Cause we always need backup. There's only one of us. Which includes the call outs. And if I have an outside agency come in, I have to pay them.
What do you pay them, Amber?
It's 35 an hour. So if they're working in Steele County and they come over for a couple hours, we share like that. We don't pay.
Okay.
But if I need someone for a search warrant for a bat, whatever it is, and they're not working, they have to come out of their home then we have to pay them.
But like you said, you do mutual aid, like you go out.
Yep.
Okay.
So that also digs into our overtime. Example, we have a trial coming up next Monday. All three of us are in the trial as witnesses. So it's a 3-day trial. So I'm gonna need overtime for 3 straight days, which will probably eat up much of my $12,000. So that takes overtime away from them after they work their 60, but we don't have a choice. We are sequestered, we can't leave, we're here for the trial. And we have another 3-day trial in June. That will be the same way.
If you were to add up your hours of sick and holiday pay that you work, you're probably over 60 hours a week.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's why I'm scheduled at 48, because I have to cover when they're gone. Okay, this is just showing, so in 2023, they had a sheriff, 2 deputies, Dalton, and then a bunch of part-timers come in.
Yep.
So they ran it with a bunch of part-timers. This is just to show, in 2023, they were $55,000 over budget with using part-timers. So if I was to get a bunch of part-timers to help out, that's what's gonna happen. So in 2024, when I was here, we came in $3,500 under budget because we didn't use them part-timers. We worked it out with ourselves to cover. That also takes a toll on a person, but we did come in under budget. 25 I don't have because she got a new system and it's just not up yet.
In 2023, didn't they have to pay a really high hourly rate on those
Mhm.
They
part-time?
did, they did.
They're
I think it was
casuals.
like
It was like-
55.
Yeah.
I thought, so, I thought 100, I thought maybe about.
I think
It was,
55.
I remember that.
It's not-
Yeah.
Mhm.
But the only reason why I have this up here is to show what it would
Yeah.
cost if we started bringing in part-time for relief.
Yeah.
It gets spendy.
Yep.
These are just where I drew my numbers from. Okay, we're gonna talk a little about the impact of extended work hours. Studies show that officers working more than 50 hours a week are 2 times more likely to experience high fatigue levels, burnout, chronic stress, anxiety, and depression. Now, if they work a 60+ hour work week, it's linked to significant decline in alertness and decision-making, increased on-duty errors and accidents, sleep deprivation. A 17+ hour, being awake 17+ hour is equal to a 0.05 blood alcohol level, or a 0.08 is illegal to drive. It's also linked to cardiovascular issues, stress-related illness, vehicle crashes, and workplace injuries. Now, just this weekend, and it didn't have to do with the smoker, I'll just put that out there. Danny was very busy. How many hours? So they work from Friday morning to Sunday or Monday morning, all by themselves. No relief. And so tell us about your schedule this weekend.
This weekend, I had some stuff going on Friday, so Amber was gracious enough and covered for me that, so I didn't have that Friday shift, but Saturday and Sunday, it started 6 a.m. Saturday morning, and I got done, 6 a.m. this morning. But after those 48 hours, I was out physically in the car, working for 23 of those hours. On the one day, it was a 16-hour day. It was busy, it was nonstop. We have that from time to time, and it gets to be a lot when you're the only one out there.
Yeah, and so Saturday also, I got called Saturday night to assist with a case we had. So it's very rare that we can go through a weekend without calling one of them. So we have to make sure if Danny's working, Dalton or I have to be home.
Somebody's gotta be around.
And
Correct.
unfortunately, I have to say, Dalton, I'm leaving. Can you be home? I can't pay you on call, but can you please be home? Cause I can't leave Danny hanging out there.
And literally before the weekend even started, I had to let them both know that I would be spending my weekend in Grand Forks. And it sucks to say that, cause it's like, hey, by the way, you guys are on your own. I'm gonna go enjoy my time with my family. I think that's
And
reality.
you have to do it, yes. Okay. So staffing comparison, Griggs County has the lowest number of law enforcement officers in the state. Now, what I mean by that, there's other sheriff's office, a couple that have 3 people. But they also have a full-time admin and they have the city departments to back them, like Foster. They have Carrington that has 5+ officers there to help them. We don't have that. We don't have a full-time admin. I was talking about them civil papers. That keeps me in the office every day until at least noon. Going through them civil papers every single day. Each deputy serves significantly more residents than every other county. And these are based on actual studies. We get a salary survey every year from the Association of Counties, so the numbers are pulled right out of there. Current amount of staffing is not sustainable. It'll cause burnout. Current staffing stretches resources beyond safe limits. And this gap directly impacts response time, safety, quality service, and the mental health of our officers. Okay, here's some comparisons right from the study that we get from the Association of Counties. And I just did counties that were close to us and with similar population. So as you can see, Griggs County has 3 officers. You look at Eddy County, they have 6, Foster has 8, Hettinger County has 7, they have also a canine. Kidder 5, Nelson has 6 with 2 canines. Steele County has 3 officers and an admin with significant less population. And Wells County is up with 8. Griggs used to have, correct me if I'm wrong, Griggs used to have, when Danny was here in 2015,
I was here in 15, but before I came.
they had a sheriff and 4 deputies before it got all cut. And I should mention that none of this is our current commission's fault. They have come in and done everything they can for us. They have helped us in every way. So at the end of the day, if this doesn't work out, it's not because they just said no. It's because the numbers don't work. But they have helped us. They have been there for us. They're open to hearing what we have to say. Okay, citizens per officer. Griggs is up to 768. We serve 768 citizens per officer. And you look at the rest of these, Eddy's 300 and some, Foster's 4, Grant's, so we'll go, Steele is 510. And then, so we are the highest in the whole state, serving citizens per officer. And we are the lowest in the entire state with the number of officers. All right, our salary compensation. Our salaries are right in the middle, thanks to this current commission. Our salaries are competitive with surrounding counties. You can see Griggs here. This is the sheriff. Pretty much in the middle, deputy sheriff salary in the middle, and my deputy right here is pretty much in the middle. We are very happy and thankful for that. We do not offer at this time full family insurance. A lot of other places do. However, it's been talked about, it's been discussed. But we're just not looking for that at this time. I mean, I don't think that's gonna happen at this time. And also our workload is much higher. So we are in the middle, however, we are doing much more work than any other county. All right, here's a study of officer to population benchmarks. Again, our population is 2,307 residents in Griggs County. We have 3 officers, that's 1 officer per 768 residents. Rural standards is 1 officer per 400 to 700 residents. And our minimum recommendation for Griggs County is 4 officers, with our ideal staffing being 5 to 6 officers. If we had five officers, we could schedule time off and we could switch and we could work a normal 40-hour week
What do you
and
got?
have backup.
What hours do you work a day? Average 12s?
Yes.
Okay.
12-hour shifts. Okay, operational impact. Deputies operate alone without immediate backup, like I talked about, if there's any backup at all. We've had some situations just recently. We had a shooter situation where I was alone with a person with a gun actively shooting. Dalton was on his way to a family vacation, actually on his way out the door, when he got the call, and he was first to come as my backup, and it was roughly 45 minutes. And then Danny was able to get there also.
I should note, I was running behind because I was up till 2 a.m. that day working on other work stuff.
Yes. Dalton also had a recent domestic violence case where it was pretty bad, people going through windows and all that. He had to show up alone. I was out of town. Danny was home. So she responded, but by the time you get dressed and get ready and to go, it was about 40 minutes that he was there alone
Mm.
with this
You
situation.
know that when you're sleeping and everything, you're trying to
Yeah,
wake up and prepare yourself.
right.
It's
And
very
I would
difficult.
imagine you probably worked the night before and had to, yeah. So we get calls at the same time. There's only one of us, so we have to prioritize which one we're going to go to. We have limited ability for proactive patrol, traffic enforcement, and drug enforcement. And the drugs are rampant here. There's no secret about it. It's something we're really trying to target, but we don't always have the time. The community impact, reduce law enforcement visibility across the entire county. A lot of times we're stuck on cases, we're stuck in the office doing stuff. We try to get out when we can, but there's only one of us on duty. We have limited ability for school presence, community engagement, and crime prevention efforts. We rely on our neighboring agency. We work really good with Steele County. Danny actually was over in Steele County Saturday night for several hours.
I was also over in Foster County for.
And
helping out
Foster.
stuff.
So while Danny was gone in Steele County most of Saturday nights, then I had to work because she's gone. Also, she was in Foster that same night,
Yeah.
earlier,
Yeah.
same night.
Helping with.
So she didn't even get to spend hardly any time in Griggs County.
That is something though, that if they have to go back and help them, you have to come in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep, someone has to be out in the county.
Okay.
All right, we have delayed response times in rural areas, reduced patrol coverage on major highways, and limited time for follow-up investigations. Okay, the impact on the officer, we've kind of went over this, but workload and fatigue, safety risk, mental and physical health. It really takes a toll on you when you're up at night, sleeping at night, up at night, sleeping. You don't get on a schedule. Burnout, chronic stress, depression and anxiety, sleep deprivation, long-term health concerns tied to extended hours, high turnover, which we will go over that, and recruitment challenges. I don't know if I could recruit someone out of the academy right now and tell them that they are working a standard 60-hour week every other weekend, but some weekends you have to be home even though you're not working. That would be a hard sell. Okay, turnover and stability. Here since 2015, there's been 17 different officers in this department. That we've rolled through 17 different officers and 7 different sheriffs. So what that means, it's a massive, massive amount of money wasted. It costs a lot of money to get an officer up and running just to have them leave. Loss of experience, loss of continuity, loss of knowledge, increased training costs, constant transition effects. And the biggest one, I think, is loss of community trust and relationships. And Griggs County has gone through that. We know what that's all about. The sheriff's office has not always been everyone's favorite place. Actually, just today in the meeting, when we talked about the Axon bill, I have no idea how they were gonna budget that, what they had in mind, so now we're in this pickle. Because it's just constant transition, I don't know what they were thinking. Okay, liability to the county, increased risk exposure due to limited staffing. Deputies responding alone to high-risk incidents, fatigue-related decision-making. Delayed response can increase severity of incidents and negligent claims. Increased potential for civil liability. So what would an additional deputy provide? Reduction in excessive work hours, improved response times, increased officer safety through backup availability, that's a big one. Ability to engage in proactive policing, increased community presence and trust, better coverage for training, vacation, sick leave, backups, call outs. So adding one deputy, if we would add a fourth person here, still leaves us last place in officer to citizen ratio in North Dakota. So adding one, we're still in last place.
And we should add too, with the breakdown too, the officers per citizen, that we're still just above that national preferred zone too.
Yeah, if we add a fourth. Yep. Okay, so just a little example of what our scheduling would look like, right? This is our current schedule. Danny and Dalton work the weekend, so you got Danny on from Friday morning to Monday morning. That is a long weekend. They do that every other weekend, and then they work nights throughout the week. Our new schedule would allow, so our new schedule would be a 40-hour work week for these guys. Be 40 hours. Sheriff would be at 48, deputies would be at 40. And they would be able to split up the weekends, and we would have some overage, so we could have 2 people on at once. And like I said, a lot less hours.
And the person opposite you could be the person kind of on call.
Mm-hmm.
Would you guys try and work 2 people on a weekend?
And our busy times, yep. Yep. So how are we gonna fund this? That's the biggest question. There is what they call a cops hiring grant. It's a federal grant that funds up to 75% of a new deputy's salary and benefits, and it does pay for some equipment. So 75% is a pretty good chunk. It'll reduce initial financial impact to the county, allows time for long-term budgeting, and provides immediate staffing relief. Now the county, so they pay that for 3 years. They'll pay 75% for 3 years of this new deputy. And then you have to retain them for 2 more years after that. So that 3 years gives you time to budget for long-term. Any questions on that?
What would happen if they left, to say we had them for the 3 years, and then for some reason they left, would we have to pay the grant back?
They allow you to hire someone else
Oh, okay,
to try to make it right.
okay.
So I would guess if we couldn't get anyone in here, but as long as you're attempting,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I want to add too, that this is the grant that was also applied for in the past, when they had more officers prior to 2020.
They did use this grant, yep. Okay, also a city partnership with Cooperstown. Cooperstown has agreed to give us $16,000 annually towards an officer. In exchange, the sheriff's office will provide enforcement of city ordinances, increase patrol presence within the city, and respond to city-specific calls for service, which would be huge for the city. Right now, when Paul gets calls, he can't really enforce them. So if we're there to help, we can enforce the city, make it a safer place, cleaner city, no dogs running around barking, biting, whatever. As far as Binford and Hannaford, we would love to work with them in the future. However, at this time, this would be a big enough chunk for us to bite off with 4 officers, seeing we're still below that threshold. But it would give us more presence in Binford and Hannaford if we had another officer. And then hopefully down the line, we can work with Binford and Hannaford on their city ordinances and get up and running with them.
How much time would it take for that fourth officer in like in Cooperstown if you added that to what they have to look for? You know, dogs and, well, how much time would it take off?
Hire and get it ready?
No.
Talking about
How much time
Oh,
would
how
it
many
take?
hours for the city?
Well, I mean, yeah,
We didn't put hours in the contract because that's just too hard to.
no, I
manage.
know, but how much would you think that,
I mean, at
it isn't
first-
that much, I
At
realize.
first, it would be a lot of work, cause we're gonna have to give everyone warnings, you can't park here, your dog can't run, your
Okay.
dog can't bite, we're not gonna go out and just ticket everyone, we'll give them all warnings.
Yeah.
But I think after people got slapped with a few tickets, that's probably gonna clean up pretty quick.
Especially because then we can start kind of dialing in who's going to be our problem.
Well, I didn't, yeah, that's what I
It's gonna
was
be
talking
everyone's
about.
gonna have to get.
It'll
used
be-
to this.
Right.
It'll take some time to begin with.
Yes, it will,
Okay,
it'll take some time. But I think our citizens deserve
oh,
that,
yeah.
I think we owe it
Oh,
to
no,
them.
no, I
To
didn't,
be able to keep the city clean and friendly and, you know.
I just
safe.
meant that fourth officer wouldn't just be in your
Oh,
whole
in
county.
the city, no.
It would,
So the
you'd
fourth
have-
officer will be for the sheriff's office.
Yep.
We will just dedicate more of all of our time to the city of Cooperstown. So we won't have one officer that's just, you're for Cooperstown, that's it. It'll be all of us doing that. Any other questions on that? So we got the city of Cooperstown and the grant.
question on the grant.
Yes,
What's our chances of getting it?
pretty good. They're pretty good at giving them out, especially to like us, we have
We have a need.
a reason to get it.
Okay.
So, and I take all them stats and all our calls and all that and do all the. Yes,
Okay.
okay, so total cost breakdown for a brand new officer. The officer's salary and benefits comes out to about $85,000 a year. The equipment, no, this is give or take, this is a rough estimate. The equipment totals about $100,000 for a new officer. Like I said, it's give or take, we can work with some of these, a vehicle, we can work on a lower price, like that is just rough, that is a rough estimate. So the grand total is about $200,000 for a brand new deputy here in Griggs County. The bottom line is 3 officers cannot effectively cover 708 square miles. The officer-citizen ratio is way too high. Current workload is not sustainable. Public safety response times and officer safety are impacted. And previous, well, we talked about that, previous staffing levels were where they should be prior to 2015. Adding 1 deputy is not an expansion, it is a necessity. Okay, what we're asking is to have approval for 1 deputy. 1 deputy here in Griggs County, utilizing the COPS grant, which is 75% of the deputy and leveraging $16,000 annually from the city of Cooperstown. And hopefully working with Hannaford and Binford in the near future.
Another question on that. So I know we talked about working with the school, getting grants for that. Could we still get some of that too?
I'm hesitant to do that,
Okay,
to commit to the school because we can't commit there full time.
okay.
My luck, we're there, here and there, and when we leave, something happens. and we're with them.
That's fine. I was just
We
curious.
just don't have the staffing to go full time
Okay.
there.
And
We're
that's,
there a lot,
yeah,
but I don't want to commit to fully
okay.
keeping them safe because we can't.
And that's fine. I understand. I just know we talked about in the past
Mhm.
doing that. So I was just curious if
Yep.
that was a route we could take.
If you were to take 200,000, 75% and then minus the 16, you'd be left around 34,000. Come from the county.
Yes, and we have the budget coming up next. So we will talk more in depth with the budget.
One other question, and when you go back to the 194,000 for the total cost. The first one that I see there is the vehicle at 58,000. Is there any way, I know that we're getting rid of those Durangos, would one of those work? for a while to help us?
I would say the one Dalton is currently driving has low miles. We can
Yeah.
keep that longer than we're
And then-
supposed to.
And then we could, you know, that
Yeah.
would really.
Right, and then the other, we could, with the new schedule, we could share for a while. We are not opposed to that.
Oh, we got some of that grant money left. too.
We are not opposed to sharing.
Okay.
Axon camera taser, I could give mine up to a new deputy. So there's ways we can make this work. We
Yep.
don't necessarily have to spend that. That is just,
No, that's,
No,
I
we
like that
cut
you did
this
that. You give
down.
us an all-in price. I like that.
yeah. There's definitely ways to cut this
Yeah.
down.
And the-
Uniforms, we have more uniforms back here than I ever know what to do with our high turnover. We probably have a uniform for any size person coming in here. So would we have to spend anything on uniforms? Probably not.
Yeah.
Because we have about 1,000 uniforms. The things that the radio, we won't get by with not having.
And that's part of the startup grant. The
Yes.
gun, the uniform and the radio. And I didn't put in training and travel, but I think training is also part of the grant that they will cover. If I'm correct
So
on
a
that.
lot of this can be
I'm
cut, we
understanding.
just put full value in there and we can work from there.
Yep, no,
But vehicle, we're more than happy to share vehicles.
no, that's.
We are not picky, we are not, we just need a body. We will ride a bicycle. I'll make Dalton ride a bicycle. We don't care.
I'll hop back on a horse.
He's the most in shape person.
We can do that.
So,
Okay, we did this. All right, so we're gonna go through the budget. And then I will be open to any questions, but let's get through that part. And then I will answer any questions.
Wanna
We have
share
the
the
city
budget
here,
screen?
they will answer your questions. So if anyone has questions, I will be happy to answer them. But I'm gonna turn it over to Steph. Cause she worked tirelessly on this budget for hours and days
I don't need the clicker. color.
and weeks.
Sam will move it for me if I need to. Well, I was just getting the budget up there. I worked with actually quite a few. They had dialogue with almost all the commissioners as to how any suggestions and questions, how we can do it and be able to put it into the budget. I visited with Sam and with one of the gals at the association that is pretty much a budget wizard. And I wanted her to look at this with me to ensure that this is something that we can do legally. And if this would work, and she said, yes, this is great, and she can appreciate a good spreadsheet, is pretty much what she said. And on the spreadsheet here, it is breakdown, it does go from first year all the way down to 10, but you can first see the first 5 years. And with here, the gray is the total cost. So here's the total cost of the start, and I did add the gun, uniforms, and radio. So it's 85,000 in the first cost. The grant will fund 75% of that. And then our match will be 25%. And then we had the additional city funds of 16,000.
I just forgot to add that there is a waiver you can apply for that 25%.
Yes.
So it is possible they could cover 100%. Sorry, I know.
Yes. And my thought on that is, after visiting with everybody, is that we should match that and put some funds away for future. So we would actually budget for 109. We would need 26,000 for the first year. So every year, let's say, for instance, I'm just gonna throw a number out, 3%, we have 130,000 this year. Some goes to ambulance, some goes to library, some goes to everywhere. And we could take whatever's left over, 26,000 of that and put towards the deputy. And with it, even though we only need 6,000, the rest of the 20,000 will go into a account, a matching. I called it a matching grants fund. So put some funds away. The next year, we'd need to up the budget 17,000. So out of that, again, let's say it's 130,000, we need 17,000 of that to go into that matching grant funds, which would be actually 40,000 that we'd have in there. Then we go on to the following year, same thing, up the 50,000, but we would take 12,000 from the budget, from that 130. And then in the end, our matching funds will have $110,000 in that matching funds grant account. And I was visiting with Sam, we were running some numbers, we were thinking maybe 54,000 of that LATCF fund out of that 100,000 that we had would be good to help continue us on, so it's not such a big hit when we carry on adjusting to bring that person in full time. So if Sam would move it down some for me,
Down or over?
or over, yep, you're doing great.
Okay.
So on this first year, again, the budget, I increased the budget 3% all the way across. We had a 3% raise all the way across. I did not change the amount that the cities would contribute because we can't say the city's gonna guarantee give us so much per year. So I used 16,000. I mean, in the future, they could put more towards it. I'm just not going to count on that or expect that. With that being said, by 30/30 is the first year that we would have to use our funds from the matching grant funds. So we'd budget for 92,000. And to do we actually need 76 of that. And we would use 23 of the budget and then 53,000 of matching. But technically, we only need to use $10,000 from the increase of the 130 we use every year. So, and so on for the next year. So what, that goes 10,000, the matching funds, the next year is 43, only 12,000. We'd have to use from 130, another 12,000. And then if you bring it on to the last few years. So all in all, in the end, and of course, we can move these, how much the matching grants funds are that we put in there. But in the end, it'd be 15,000 one year and so on. We keep slowly putting less in there and bringing it out so we don't ever have it. So the very last year, we'd have to increase the budget by 8,164.09.
Which as the more and more with that 3%, it'll add more. That 3% amount will keep raising more.
Right, and I just said, let's say out of the 130,000. Cause I think that was kind of what I had Sam do a mock. If nothing changed, we'd have approximately 130,000 to be able to increase the budget for everybody's, some for the ambulance, and some for other departments.
The 54,000 that you wanted to take those funds, you want to take those now and put it in there?
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
And
that
then,
way we don't accidentally.
yeah, and then that way it would take off the initial.
Mhm. Yes, and if we have the waiver, even if we got the waiver, we could adjust things there. If it was 100% coverage, then we could adjust how much we take for the matching funds to put away, just as long as we have enough put away, so it's not such a huge hit every year. It tapers off for the next 10 years. I couldn't cut it off any shorter than 10 years without it being a huge hit, but it shouldn't impact the county budget too harshly if I do it this route.
There might be more available grants in the future about stuff like
Yes.
this too.
Yes. It was a very, very nice rough draft. Any questions? Clear as mud?
Are you gonna be here in 10 years?
Right. I know it was after fashion, I was looking at this with Sam and I said, I gotta stop looking. You know, I was like, but is this right? And she's like, stop, Steph, you've got enough, it's good. So, yeah, that was our budget and it will fit. We can make it fit. Okay.
Any other questions for me?
Yeah, I guess the main one is, what is your chance of finding somebody? That's kind of,
It would be a little easier saying you don't have to work 60 hours a week.
I
and
know,
stay
we call
home.
it saying no.
We would try our best.
You would reduce then down to 40, you'd be.
40,
having
it'd
somebody
be a
at
straight 40.
40-hour week.
Yes, and with that, I did not know these numbers before. So with that, thank you, you three. I am not, your dedication is phenomenal into the county, knowing that you're gonna be scheduled 60 hours a week and staying. So that I cannot thank you enough.
They would be at a straight 40.
Yeah.
So obviously law enforcement is not everyone's pick to be in right now. It's kind of tough for recruiting, but we'll try our best. We got a few ideas.
Okay.
Dalton's got good rapport with the academy up in Devil's Lake, so.
And like I discussed with Amber earlier, it comes down to, do we want someone that already has experience? Like, are we gonna open up that for recruitment for someone older that is gonna come in? Well, now we have to take their ideas and what they've learned elsewhere and try to make them fit here, or do we get a new guy? And we mold them into an officer that fits here with our idealisms only. So, and that's something that we've got to measure out.
That's more on your guys' decision if you ask me. Because you're the one who working with them.
We may not have a choice.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so
Do you think they'd be more visible?
would we be?
Well, yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
very much
100%.
Yeah.
If we had another officer, being able to split up those weekends, you're talking, you're getting now an officer that's
Well, I'm,
not work till 2 in the morning. and
the
trying to sleep
the
at
reason
work.
I ask is because I've already, somebody talked to me about that, and so.
You should have invited him today. Oh, I'd love to talk to him.
No, I just meant, that I think would be.
The city of Hanford would appreciate that.
And
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
But I also
So,
want to thank you for everything you
Yeah.
do for Hannaford, and I had no idea that that's how your guys' schedule was, and I know you both have families, I don't know how you do it, but, yeah.
well, and
Well, two of us are divorced.
You still have families, yeah, you
And
still have
kind
families.
of going back to proactive policing and traffic enforcement, I want everyone to understand, like, we hear your calls and we acknowledge them when you say, hey, there's a lot of people speeding through town. Hey, there's a lot of people. It's just, we'll get there and we'll get another call and we have to prioritize that over running traffic, because where were you guys? Well, I was giving people speeding tickets while this guy was getting attacked.
Well, and I feel guilty for that. 'cause I
Well,
was
don't feel
no.
guilty. That's not what I'm saying.
No,
It's
but I
just-
mean, no,
Yeah.
I
Oh.
do feel guilty because Hannaford has a lot of traffic
Yeah.
problems.
And we.
Don't get me started.
Yeah.
But
Keep
um,
calling.
Yeah.
We like to hear your voice
Well, I
anyway.
usually, yeah, I usually don't call unless I get a lot of residents calling me.
Yeah.
Because my phone rings off the hook too,
Yeah.
and some of them are very, minor, and I'm not gonna bother you with them, but we do appreciate, I think of your presence really slows things down, because I've
Yeah.
seen it.
Yeah.
And I call the highway patrol too once.
Which is great.
Yes, yes, they're good too, but they're busy too, so,
They'd like to be up in these rural areas.
yeah.
They just can't as much.
Well, and the highway patrol has been awesome. So they've also opened it up where they've had lateral transfers, and there's a lot of people that have worked from the sheriff's office. Well, now they're working with the highway patrol, so they enjoy coming out to these smaller areas
Well-
and getting that one-on-one again.
And when you go 65 miles an hour past our bowling alley, they got them, but that's the kind of things we're dealing with.
Yeah.
And driving over sidewalks, truckers driving over sidewalks now at the detours, so.
No, we absolutely are, love when you guys call and we can try to get out there. It just sucks when we get there. And then we have to take off because something else happened and
I
we get a
know.
call from you guys and like, hey, I thought we asked you. I was like, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
But
we'll get it.
every
We'll get it.
time-
We'll get it.
They all know it, they know how busy you are.
Every time people call, we have a three-way text going, so we
Yeah.
all know what's
We're
going
all
on. We
aware.
get on and like, you got watches for Hannaford, this, that, whatever.
We do appreciate.
While
you.
Dalton's probably trying to have lunch with his family. It's like, But
I suppose.
anything else? Thank you for coming. We really, really, really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Okay, any discussion from the commission?
do we need
If any,
to vote on approving the
Yes.
application for grant?
yes, I'm looking for a motion for Amberly to apply for the grant to move forward with this position.
So move.
Okay, motion by Lauren to apply for the grant for the new position. Got a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? Any discussion?
And we're just gonna base this off the approval of the grant, the budget from there and everything else.
No.
Like, we're not just going out hiring somebody. We're gonna say,
No.
all this stuff is in place, then we'll start
You
looking,
got to
correct?
get the grant.
Okay.
I'm not doing, no,
Okay.
absolutely.
I just want to make sure so everyone's
get it.
clear about
Yeah.
that.
And the
No.
grant opens,
Any day, any day.
That's what
I've been
moved,
waiting
made
for
a
it.
motion for, was for the grant.
yep,
Okay.
Yes.
I do have a question. The city has approved getting into an agreement with the county. I know you guys haven't voted or talked about that. Would that be a possibility even if you don't get approval for the grant? To enter into an agreement?
Is that something, that'd probably be something.
that we'll
I'm
have to
sure.
have a discussion later on.
Yeah, let's take one step at a time because I can tell you, I do feel like we owe it to the citizens.
Mhm.
So we'll move one step at a time.
Would you want us to, so let's say we do that, would you want a contract drafted and signed, or are you guys just not too worried about it?
We have a contract drafted already.
Okay,
Yep,
We've
So
been working with the city for the last 4 months-ish
Okay.
on this. So we have a very good partnership with them. We've been able to talk through this, multiple meetings to get up to this point. We do feel it's very important to work with the city. and Hannaford and Binford when we get our feet under ourselves. We are not by any means leaving Hannaford and Binford out.
We'll wait.
I can talk to the committee or city in Benford too.
Yeah.
See if they'd be interested.
Any other discussion? Okay, bar no other discussion, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Congratulations, Amberly. Good luck on your grant writing skills.
Thank you.
Yes, and you guys, and thank you. Thank you again for all that you guys do for us.
Once everything's approved, you guys are gonna start doing some searching then and let us know?
Yeah, we'll keep you updated.
Okay,
The grant should open anytime. It closes in June.
okay.
Some point in June, it's just not open yet, but any day it opens.
Yeah, that'd be nice, so we can work it into our budget when we do our budget this year.
But if for some reason the grant falls through, then we'll try again next year. We won't go through without a grant. We're not that greedy.
Okay, next on the agenda, we have Wayne. Come on down, got anything for us? 911 RS?
I don't have anything.
You don't have anything for that? Okay, yes, would anybody want to take a motion to take a quick
I'll make-
break?
Yeah,
That'd be a good idea.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, motion by Scott, second by Rod, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
I,
Both same sign. We'll take a quick 5-minute break on everybody. Make sure you wash your hands if you go into the bathroom. Hand hygiene is very important. You gonna pull up that other PowerPoint? You're able to? Perfect.
What are we
But on
doing?
the
Employee
commission
manual.
or whatever it is.
I mean.
well, I don't know, we also post it live on the
When are we
website.
gonna
too,
go
don't we,
back to
Sam?
that Pat Hansen?
All
I
this.
don't know if she's on. She's not on yet.
But you don't do anything.
Yeah.
We need her.
Because there's
Can we
plenty of
just-
them that do. Well,
totally up to you guys.
I don't know.
Totally up to you.
And I've never thought that. I've never
Well, I
heard
don't
that,
know.
but I'm sure there are.
She said when we were visiting with her, she said she could be on.
And I messaged her too, and she said, yes, that she was gonna be here, so I can message her again too.
I think how we handle that might need Jamie to visit about
I can say, I can call Jill and have her.
the legality of what we need to do.
Yeah, some stats out there, some people realize how much you guys really. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, how about with these, with this, pass the.
Well, it's gonna affect, it should. I've talked to them and this grant should be coming. I mean, grants are starting to open up again.
Okay.
No, it's special.
From the Department of Justice.
Should.
Especially with your, you know, the information you had is comparing us to other counties. That was really good. And I don't think people really, no, of course not. And how would they? They haven't.
But I don't,
the
I
information
don't
knowing.
have a place to
No, so
stick
that's,
it.
I think,
That's not-
you should push the people.
It's gotta sit inside. So it's a private. Some of it was in private, some of it was in bare metal. He had it sitting in his.
Pensions.
There was a lot of.
Yeah, or they take their time.
Doesn't fail paint, but there was.
To be honest with you, I.
So
Unless they're really old, I don't
myself,
think
it ain't
they're
gonna be good, but I can do it myself.
Yeah, and you might.
Did you ever see this?
Probably.
This is my bracelet from Grace.
I think that's the question.
She made it for me.
That's him.
She put on me at Bio Girls and then and I haven't been taking it off.
She had her mom.
I don't think that's good.
Well, yeah.
You're past the big block stage.
Well, no,
Just don't get any ideas. Right.
Everything was always paid.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You need to go to.
No, the deal is.
But I think
Well, I
that's.
know
the
the troopers. We're not letting.
Yeah, find out what.
We're not letting-
I've got enough.
Do you want this presented to the, like, on the public side so the public can see it?
It's nice when the public can see what we're saying. You know, thank you, great job.
Double the
They're
price
not
of
quite-
what we-
Either
I've already had a hard time. So this one, my-
They're worried about the
Already
same
paid
stuff.
more than
here.
that.
They stop you and you don't have any drugs in your car, that's fine. So we have that, that much drugs. See, and we don't even know that because she's not involved. So to us, it's like doing something better with.
I'm just trying to figure out what we're having.
No, we're done.
We've got a lot of old ladies in the
Yeah.
community who know what's going on.
I didn't want to look like a fool, you know.
Put another mutter on.
Yeah.
I was talking to the guy, and he was coming straight on to me.
I didn't want to look like a fool.
Well, thank you, Mike.
Thank you. Great presentation.
If that Pat's been in contact with them and knows what's going on, maybe she does, but I don't know that they.
Thank you for all your work.
Oh.
You betcha.
So, and talk to me.
His refrigerator died, because of course that's how the bid started.
Well, mine was just.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Well, the worst thing. Put together and he couldn't get drugs. See ya.
You know, New
Never
Hampshire.
gonna start. Sad for 10 years.
That's a favorite right there. Kind of a favorite.
I see that.
I could have been cheaper.
Well, that's been around.
Yeah.
Since '08.
I see that.
All
right. Everybody back? We could probably bring this meeting back to order.
That would work, interesting.
All right. Next on the agenda is the employee manual. I'm gonna stand here because I have some slides and I'm much better presenting when I'm standing. Okay, first on the schedule on here on the slide is work schedules. So thanks for Wayne. Wayne found the updated schedule for the road department where their regular work schedule county currently from April 15th through November 15th, they work 4 10-hour shifts, Monday through Thursday. And then effective October 1st through April 14th, they work, normal work hours is 5 hours, 5 8-hour shifts. And then these dates may change as determined by the Griggs County Road Superintendent and approved by the Griggs County Commission, depending upon weather conditions. My only suggestion, this slide's updated, it is now correct. My only suggestion or question is, would we be interested in changing this since there is snow the past few years, starting in October? To move the 8-hour shifts October 1st rather than November 16th. That's my only my only suggestion is to do that. By doing that, you'll eliminate, the possibility of overtime between November and November 16th, since they work 4 10s, one if it snows on a Friday. That's my suggestion. Any thoughts on that?
But you'd still leave it to where it would be we'd vote on it as a commission.
Yes. Yep, that would still stay the same. Any changes are to be voted on, and that was already in there. I didn't add that. That was already in the current policy that that Wayne found for us that we.
So then if there was no snow we could just say leave it as it is if we wanted. Okay.
Okay.
Well, did they do a lot of blade work or graveling after October 1st?
Depends upon the year. Yeah, we do a lot of blading toward the end of the year, some gravel. I don't want to wait too long into the year to gravel down because it doesn't get packed in.
I'm sure it depends on how wet the year is.
Well, would October 15th be?
October 15th.
Well, I'm just wondering if what Wayne would think, would that be
I
closer?
just know last few years you've had snow, so it was just a.
No,
We had a couple of big snowstorms October 10th, remember, 2 years in a row, remember that? Yeah.
Yep. I just know the dates because my sister's birthday's the 15th and we always joked about, snow on her birthday.
Right.
Or going trick or
Yes.
treating when there's
A
snow.
lot of times, those years we got snow in October and then it didn't snow. Till
Okay,
January, December, whatever, much. So it was, yeah, we got that foot of snow that one time, and then it went away.
okay.
If you leave it same, and if you wanna change it at the time or whatever, that.
I don't know that it really matters. We're gonna vote on it anyway, I guess.
What I don't want it to be is we set a schedule October 1st and then
Yeah.
they need to follow it. So if we're comfortable with the November 16th, then let's leave it.
I say we leave it, and if for some reason, if we do have a freak winter or whatever else,
We
I-
can come back to the board.
we can come back to the board, or Wayne will come to us to say, hey, we want to change your hours to winter hours. Do you guys approve that?
Perfect.
And we could do that. Are you guys good with that?
That yellow part says Ferguson County Commission.
Yeah.
on the weather
Yep.
conditions.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. You would, if you needed to change, you would just come talk to us type of deal.
So did you say to change it, talk?
No, to leave it, just
Oh,
leave it the
okay.
way it is. And then if we need to change it, he'll come talk to us.
Okay.
Okay, sounds good to me. Okay, so on holiday pay, that was one of the policies. This is what we need to discuss. The road department's old schedule was 5/8 all year round. And the road department's current schedule has a mixed seasonal one with some winter hours and summer hours. And then that's how it is currently. In 2024, the road department's holidays, we're gonna discuss the 2024 holidays off. We're gonna discuss 2025's holidays off. And then we're gonna talk about their current holidays off. So these are our talking points. I'm gonna make these next slides. In the old department, when they did 5/8 all year round, they had 100 hours off for holiday. Cause they were 8-hour shifts.
I do believe one of the guys, I've only been there for a year, but one of the other guys told me they used to work 5/9s.
5/9s?
Yeah.
The book said 5/8, so that's what it was.
45 hours, we worked 50 hours for when your dad.
Okay, well, the book said 5/8 when I
Yeah.
had it. Yep, so the road department's current schedule is mixed seasonal shifts. So if you put the holidays in there, you have 112 hours a year off. Okay, so that's 12 hours more holiday off than what it used to be. So that would give times 7 employees, that's 84 hours a year that's not worked with the mixed schedule. And that's the difference with the changes. Now in 2024, Wayne did not follow the winter schedule and moved on to the winter 8-hour shifts. So in turn, they got 117 hours off. Which is not found the policy, that is times with a 5-hour difference between these two, the times 7 employees, that's 35 hours that they had off additional that they should have. Okay, now move on to 2025. Wayne didn't follow the schedule at all, the winter schedule at all, so that was, they got a total of 125 hours off during the 2025. With that, that's 13 hours above what they're supposed to have, which was 112. That's 13 hours above, take that times 7 people, that's 91 hours. That wasn't worked, because we didn't follow the work schedule. The policy states that Wayne gave us, that they're supposed to have 112 hours off for holiday. But technically, they had 125. That's the struggle. And then so far in 2026, Wayne also did follow policy again and did move to the 8s. And so they had 4 days of holidays in the beginning of the year during their winter hours. So they have 40 hours off. When according to the policy, it should have been 32. So that's an overage of 8 hours per employee in 2026. We're only in April with holidays. So that's 56 hours over the policy that was time off that they didn't work. This is what I found when we were doing the research when I found that. And my question on that is what do we do? when somebody doesn't
So-
follow policy.
So then when you go back to the road of the 112, that's gonna be the policy that we just looked at, the November 1.
Yep, with the mixed shifts,
Yep.
yep, of
That's-
November
That's
first.
gonna be,
That
that-
gives them 6 hours in the 10-hour days and 6.5 hours at the 8-hour shifts.
Are they working 8-hour shifts now, 5 days a week? They're working
Well,
10-hour shift,
they
4
should,
days a week, all winter,
4 days a week.
all winter?
they should have switched over, even at the last meeting, it should have been on April 6th when it was. We found the policy, it was like, Wayne, are you gonna work 8 hours? But he didn't change it back to the 8 hours until the 15th. It was supposed to change, be 8 hours until the 15th. So you gotta follow guidelines.
Yep, it says in there, the commissioner's approval, so. Didn't disapprove.
But didn't,
It says if you're gonna change this schedule here, Wayne,
and they're not changing it,
but you did. You didn't work the winter 8-hour shifts.
right?
So that's, and it was supposed to be winter 8-hour shifts through April 14th.
Yep,
And even when you found out on the 6th, as a reminder, you still didn't bring it back to the 8-hour shifts until the 14th.
so we are back now. You switch back.
Now it's
Still-
10-hour
still
shifts
4
because
times.
now it's April 15th, because effective April 15th, they moved to the 410s.
Oh, okay, I see.
so now we're back to 10-hour shifts
Yep,
by policy.
By
by policy.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
so our overtime budget per year is 30,000 or 35.
She's got
I
the
didn't-
presentation, I can't.
I think-
now.
I think we're past what happened. So I don't know,
Right.
I mean, for this year.
This is correct. But this is what happens, I mean, that's 125 hours that were in 2025.
Well,
Just so everybody is aware that when we don't follow policy, this is what happens.
yeah, no, I agree. I just saying,
The question on the holidays, here's the current policy, here's part of it. And the discussion.
no,
is-
let's go back to the other one just so I can
Okay.
put it. Since we're already past that anyhow for this year. Is there anything we can do about it except enforce it for next year? I mean, and,
We needs to be sure that, yes, he follows his policy.
well, that's what I'm saying.
Yep.
Right.
For this year, we're probably,
I mean, it's 3 years now, this is the 3rd year.
yeah, but it's,
Not following.
it's
Exactly, but,
in history.
yep,
So I think our obligation then would be to make sure that next year we enforce the policy.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm,
Does that make sense or not?
mm-hmm.
Okay,
And Sam will be the double check for that to ensure that it does get switched and she does know the policy.
Yeah.
And she does the payroll, so she'll see if and when they've switched it to the
Yeah.
8s and the 10s
thank you.
to ensure that that will be done. Okay, so here the holiday, the question on this also, there's 2 things on here. Part 1 is before it was 100 hours of holiday off. And that was when it was all 8s. Now we're up to 112. Okay, so the question is, do you want to leave the policy and let the road department receive 12 hours more with the mixed schedule? Versus when it was 8 hours, that's an 84-hour difference of not worked a year. Or do you want to have the policy max out at 8 hours of the holiday during the summer work schedule? And then the road department can either use 2 hours of vacation to meet the 10 hours or flex their schedule or not be paid for 2 hours. Flex their schedule is that you work longer on another day, to make up for those 2 hours. That's the question, but we need to be clear in the policy book. I need, one of these 2 needs to be put in here so that nobody can question it in the future.
I would,
I'd just do the 8 hours if you ask
It
me.
says in that black print, that's what's in the policy right now. Holiday pay will be calculated
Yep,
based on the employee's straight time pay rate as the date of the holiday.
correct.
The number of hours the employee would otherwise have worked. So in a
Correct.
10-hour day, you get a 10 hours.
vacation.
Do we
each on
want
holiday
to,
Or whatever, because it comes out of the time that you already earned.
okay,
figured into the 2,080 hours
Yes, which is 12 hours higher a year,
more.
more than what it was. And so that's my question. Because this, I'm sure, wasn't considered when this first policy was brought out. So now that I bring it to everybody's attention, do you want to leave it the way it is? And the road department receive 12 hours more with the mixed schedule? Or do you want to bring it to where it used to be when they were 8-hour shifts and cap it at 8 hours? And then the road department either uses 2-hour vacation, or they can flex their shifts to, flex their schedule.
So it's 12 hours a person, 84 hours total.
So with this, if the schedule is the way that it is going to be in the policy manual, there's only 6 holidays within that they would be working those 10 hours.
Yep, 6 holidays.
So it's not all the 12 and a half or holidays that this would affect. It would
Yep.
just be those.
Just half of it.
Just those summer hours or whatever?
Yep,
Exactly.
I wrote down here.
Otherwise they're working 8-hour days.
Yep,
So then
Memorial Day, Juneteenth, 4th of July, Labor Day, Columbus Day is in October, the second week in October, and Veterans Day is November 14th, and November 11th.
I would like to see that that somehow we put in there that their holiday days would relate to the time that they have scheduled.
So that's the
what it
current.
currently says. Do we want to leave it like that, or do you, or?
We might run into some problems then with like the office staff that's only working 7.5 hours a day. Do we owe them another
No.
half hour?
This is just.
If we change-
pertaining to
if
the
we-
Road department, this is only pertaining to the road department's
can-
holiday, because they were once 100 hours off first. And now they're 112. Are you okay with the 12 hours not worked? Which is 84 hours a year that they have off, not worked.
The one thing that I'll add into this is that there's a benefit, there's 84 hours there that has not worked, and the math is right there. But the reason that we have moved it from the 100 to the 112, from the 8, was to cut down on road time of the machines, which is saving the county money. So there's a balance there to why we did, because the easiest thing to do is say, let's go back to, 5/8 year round. But
That isn't cost effective.
that's
for the
not
county.
cost effective.
Right.
So the balance, what we're gonna try and balance out is can we justify the 84 hours for the cost effective of road time of the machines? You follow what I say?
Yep,
That's just something that you want to think about when you're making.
Basically, they're getting a little bit more vacation time or paid time off, but yet you're saving that in the wear and tear on the equipment is what you're saying, if
Right.
not more.
Right. The one thing that we could do, if you go back to the beginning date, if you wanted I don't even know what the math would be, but if you went back to that October 1, you would take that one vacation day out.
you take 2 holidays out.
You would take 2, okay.
Yep. So it'd be 4 holidays that would be on there, so that's 4 less, that's 2 hours per holiday, so that's 4 less. And then 4 times 7 is 28, that's 28 other hours. I'm good either way. These are just things that I've noticed, and I think we need clarity on it.
No, and I'm just trying to figure this out in my head here as you're bringing this to me.
And in talking with the employees from the last meeting, we're not thinking that we aren't getting their benefits. The courthouse people aren't thinking that this is not fair or anything like that. So
You
Lauren,
guys are
with,
perfectly okay with.
if the road department is paid with their schedule, we have no issues. It's not that we're thinking that this is unfair. So no, Lauren, you wouldn't have to give the office people like that.
This isn't.
This is.
Well, I just want
Yeah, no.
up here or in our manual, I just want it clear
Yep,
what is expected and so anybody can read it
Yep.
and understand it. That,
yes,
Right.
yes.
sometimes I don't understand things as well as other people, but I mean, we all have a different, when you're working on something, you see it maybe different than somebody just looking at it.
A question, so like right now, let's say, take this winter, for example, if you worked the 4/10s and then it snowed on Friday, and then you guys would work the Friday, or the Saturday or whatever, you're, okay. And then,
You guys would subtract that from that following week though, right? You
No,
guys
that would be overtime.
It would be overtime, okay.
So let's just work 5 8-hour days and then that'll settle it.
That's not the discussion here. The
That's-
discussion,
That'll solve it all.
That'll solve the
the
problem.
discussion is,
Can put it in the policy.
I think the commission has agreed that this is a good schedule. The winter hours and the summer hours is a good schedule. Even though it hasn't been followed for the past, years for the winter schedule. But
We're not making any extra money on it.
no, but it's the extra time off that's not being worked.
What I'm gonna think, Stephanie, if we think that's a good schedule for the summer hours, I think then we ought to look at it. If there's holidays, then that holiday will give them 10 hours and we won't worry about it.
Okay, so, if you guys are all in agreement to that, I am fine with that.
I mean,
I just needed to be clarified in here that you guys are okay knowing.
well, not only that, you guys aren't in a discrepancy about it either. I mean, you guys seem perfectly fine with it.
Yeah, no, it's,
I do think that we should try and keep the 10-hour during the summer, for the taxpayer, for the, the wear and tear on the blade and, that was what it was designed for.
And if
And then
when the schedule shift comes, if you feel like, no, we don't need to change this right now, if you want to come talk to us, say, can we still keep our 410s? Hey, we are okay with that, if you ask me.
Yeah.
But that's my personal opinion versus
But according to this,
anybody else.
you're supposed to.
And I
You're
think
not
that's what,
supposed to just leave it,
Yeah,
and I think you've been called out on it before in 23. But in 24,
here.
you didn't switch it back.
but,
I think everything should stay the way it is. And then if there's a change or whatever else, Wayne can come talk to us and we will deal with it.
yeah.
Okay,
I guess my biggest thing, as long as we have the date of October 1, that we make a decision to what we're doing. Just,
did you want to change the October to, because if you want to change it to
excuse
October,
me.
it's right now, it's November 15th.
oh, no, yeah, that's fine.
And if it snows beforehand,
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. Yep,
okay,
no, well,
so it's
that's
November
fine.
15th. And we're good so far with the holidays. Everybody's okay with the additional 12 hours that's off.
Yep,
Okay, then I am not going to change. I don't need a motion or anything. This will stand as is.
Okay.
So it's during whatever the shift they are during that holiday. And these are the holidays that are for theirs. Okay. Next slide is on the observing, to have this in here, I wanted this in here for Wayne, because Wayne was all kind of confused because we had a holiday that landed on a Friday. So he didn't give anybody a day off on that Thursday because he didn't know what to do. However, what do you do, Wayne, when it lands on a Saturday and you're working 410s?
Well, it's a Saturday, we give.
Thursday, yeah,
No.
but when it was a Friday, you didn't take any days
we
off.
give-
Or do you do the following Monday sometimes too, depending on?
Sunday, then we take the,
Okay,
So the current policy states a recognized holiday that falls on a Saturday will be observed on the preceding Friday, meaning falls on Saturday, take Friday off. A recognized holiday that falls on a Sunday will be observed on the following Monday. So if Sunday, take Monday off. Now,
In other words, Easter, for example.
yep, Easter lands on Sunday, take Monday off. And sometimes the 4th of July, some of those holidays are rotating, 4th of July, Christmas, New Year's, those are. But for holidays that are for the road department's summer schedule, that's recognized as a holiday that falls on a Friday or Saturday, they will be observed on the preceding Thursday. So a Friday holiday, such as Good Friday, or if the 4th of July lands on a Friday, or those runs on a Friday, they'll take Thursday off on the 410s. So it's clear. Because we just need that clarity on there. So I need a motion to add that into there so that it's,
basically you're saying it so they don't take an extra,
because they weren't taking anything off.
yeah,
So what happened was, it was Good Friday, they already worked everybody worked 410s and didn't take a day off that they should have taken off.
okay.
And
so
then,
basically, all you were doing is just ask them to take the day off on the,
yep,
it's just to make the
it just
employee
shows
manual.
that it's
manual.
clear that if it lands on a Friday, they're supposed to take
so I
a Thursday
didn't
off.
understand exactly what do we do, it's Friday,
Okay.
we got Friday off.
So any Friday holiday that they
And-
landed, did you take any Thursdays off? How did it work in the past? If a holiday ever landed on a Friday, what did you guys do?
Holiday, we took a day off.
Okay.
But you never got paid for
But
that. You didn't get paid for
Well,
that.
you got
Yeah.
all.
But you didn't.
You get
work
holiday.
Good Friday. But you did all the other holidays that land on Fridays.
So all this says nothing's changing.
We
We're just
didn't work
making,
on Fridays. If we had a holiday, we didn't work.
So you worked 40 hours and just didn't take a holiday off? Holiday day off?
so this, all this is doing is making clarity of how they're
Yeah.
gonna take, okay. I'll motion to approve this.
Okay, motion by Rod to add this into the holiday observing falls, holidays policy. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Josh. Is there any other discussion on that? Any discussion? Any discussion? Bar none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign.
That include the staff, the office.
We work Friday, so already in the employee manual, it'll
Oh,
say that
gotcha,
if
gotcha.
it's on Saturday, will
Yeah,
be
this is-
Friday.
This is
Yep,
just
yep.
that 10 hour or.
Yes,
This
So-
is, they're in their summer schedule.
Yep.
They're in the road
Thank you.
department
That's-
summer schedule.
So you might get 40 weekends now. So that's actually a benefit for you guys.
Well, not really.
I just had a 4-day weekend because I was sick for 2 days and then.
Yeah, but that's not a good 4-day weekend.
No,
Okay, moving on to the time clock. I visited with Sam, effective May 1st, everybody's gonna be on the time clock. She's done a couple runs, she's done a whole entire month with just 4 of them on it and got some of the glitches out, but just be aware that when it does start May 1st, everybody else, please be patient because there will be glitches because it's new software. It's set up, you're gonna have glitches right away. It's never fast moving or smooth moving when you first start a new software program. Clocking in and out will be according to their designated schedule unless prior authorized by the manager. For instance, Sam had a question, wonder if her deputy comes in at 7:45. She comes in 7:45 and she makes her coffee and do whatever. Her schedule starts at 8. She'll punch in at 8. That's, punch in at your scheduled time. Office staff will punch in and out at their desks. The road department will punch in and out on either the road department's laptop or iPad. I asked Wayne to bring the laptop and iPad into Sam so she can add on their shortcuts to the website for clocking in and out.
question for the road department, we're going back to like talking about Sam's deputy being at 7:45. They could, we don't care what hours they work, do we? You guys, if you come in like at 5 AM and get going because it, do you start at 5 and then?
Sometimes, no.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just 10 hours a
Yeah.
day is what
So
they
why
do.
don't you, why don't you put the 10 hours,
10
we don't care.
And you don't go bunch of overtime, stuff like that.
No, we
Right.
do is what, if I'm 10 miles away from home and I got a half an hour more to do,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna go over.
Oh, yeah, no, I mean,
I might start
So-
later the next day.
Absolutely.
Right.
Correct.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep,
Yeah, flexing it, that's perfect, we
flex
appreciate
the
that,
schedules, perfect.
appreciate
And
that.
then Wayne brought up like punching for lunches. Well, when you're out on the road and you're doing something on the road, you're not gonna come back in to punch for your lunch. You're just gonna eat your lunch on the road, sit, pull over for a little while, eat and then go again. Sam can set it up that it automatically just deducts it.
Perfect.
So we're not gonna worry about punching for lunches at all. Sutton and Binford clock in, Wayne asked about that, and on those days, it's when you start from home. I'm sure sometime during the week you come to town, so just go to the laptop and you can go to that day, let's say it's the 1st, you can go to that day and write a note to Wayne, I was here at 5.
See, that's what I was questioning
And then,
Samantha the other day too, and I talked with Wayne about it.
Yep.
Can we, any of the road department, this is just for the pay scheduling or
Mhm.
basically.
Mhm.
Can we do it at the end of the week after we've worked a week? Can we do what we did?
I would suggest, if you're ever in the office in the
I mean,
meantime,
just something like that.
whenever you're in the office, plug it in. If you don't, but for those who start, like Rodney's in town, he's gonna go straight to the office first.
Yeah,
He can clock in, but if you're starting on the road like in Sutton or Binford, whatever, if you're starting and don't come to town,
yeah.
then just, when you do get to town,
That's-
write Wayne a note and say, I was start time at 6.
Well,
And
we
then he
can-
just has to click approve. I'm just done at 5, click approve.
We can click, call them on the two-way or call
Yep.
them on the phone, whatever, we'll clock in and clock out as it paid.
Yep, so yeah, you can just, whenever you're in, you can just type it in.
So can they do that at the shop?
Wayne can, but I would prefer that you put the note in for him to approve, because otherwise then it is you saying you were there.
Yeah.
So that you have the trail that I started the shift, I ended the shift, so that Wayne can approve that instead of Wayne putting it in and That just gives them a chance of not having clear records.
It cuts back on discrepancy, especially if
Yeah.
you call another employee, say, hey, can you clock me in or out? That does create, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I don't mean to be mean, but it does create
Well,
discrepancy.
it just, it sounds to me like if we're doing that, we can fudge any numbers we want, and that's why I don't even know if the clock does them much good.
Well, you're
If
saying
our
that they're fudging
supervisor-
numbers now.
If our supervisors can't understand what,
But the
if they don't trust their employees,
the
They do, so
supervisor,
that's why they're gonna put it in the clock and he'll
Yeah.
approve it, that
Well-
that's good. Same difference.
if they
It's-
call from home and been there all afternoon and say, I came in at 5, what's the supervisor do? He believes them.
Right, so that's why when they come to town, they can put it in the computer and say, I came in at 5, and Wayne says, click at it. Click at it.
I can call from Puerto Vallarta then on vacation.
Well, that's all I'm.
well, they're gonna know you're on vacation
That's
though.
all I'm
Don't
asking.
don't call Wayne and say, clock me in at 5. But when you're, let's say
But
you,
I mean, I get what he's saying.
Yeah.
It's,
It can be manipulated. I mean,
it's, same with the paper, you guys can write whatever you want. with this paper.
exactly.
Well,
But you guys
that's
still-
what
You guys still will fill out your pieces of paper for Wayne, for him to bill out.
well, but he's got to trust them to do it.
But isn't the bottom
Kind of
line,
like the papers trusting too.
isn't the bottom line of the whole thing is to make this more efficient for Sam on the
That's-
clock, tight
We're
clock?
very,
Yeah,
yes.
that's the whole, isn't the whole. idea
Well,
of this?
not only that,
Well,
like they.
there's two sides of the time clocks. So there's
Okay.
the punching in and out, and then there's the timesheet itself.
Okay.
And so when you clock in and out, it pushes it over to the time clock or the timesheet, and then that's what's gonna be pushed into my payroll.
Okay.
And so I'm seeing all of these, like, if I were to pull up my deputies right now, it would put 77.5, 7.5, all that. And then I can go in and say, oh, well, she took 4 hours of vacation this day. I could put that in there. It would automatically deduct it from her sheet. So that's coming from over here, but you can redo the timesheet over the time clock.
Okay.
So the time clock puts it in there. Now, okay, I forgot to
It's a
clock
double
out.
check, it's a double check.
Yes.
But you correct
you-
it on the time clock side, so your time clock report matches your
Yeah,
time sheet.
okay.
You don't just fix a time sheet, because that's what's happening right now, is they're just fixing time sheets, and so the pay stubs aren't matching.
And then it's
Right?
But
easier.
I can just use the time sheet.
Why
But
can't we
there's-
just have a time clock that we scan a fingerprint when we walk in the door at work? Scan, we're there. When we leave at the end of the day, scan.
Scan it?
we've left.
That
And
costs more money than just going to a computer and then putting in your username and password and hitting clock in, hitting clock out. It's an expense. You have to rent a clock, so that's another annual expense on that. And then they're good for so long, they have to update the clock. Here, we already have laptops, we already have iPads, so the cost isn't there. However, there is an option where on your cell phone, you can have the app on your cell phone. I mean, so you can clock in and out on your cell phone.
From home.
But
Yeah.
that, you'd have to be on our Wi-Fi. You can fix the app so that people can't get to be on the Wi-Fi to be able to do it.
You have to be within the building. That's like at the hospital up there.
I have that at the nursing home too, that people don't clock in and out on their cell phones, but they have the
Okay.
ability, but that's a whole
Okay.
nother ball.
Th-
game.
This one you can clock in. So like Jim would be able to clock in at his shop. He
You
would,
sure can.
yeah.
You just have to put unless you
Okay.
put the restriction on to not. If you can put the restriction on the program. Okay, so this is what's gonna happen May 1st. We're going to start with using the time clocks. It's gonna be a hot mess to start, and just so everybody knows, be patient, please. There will be, as we're using it, if there's things that need to be changed, it's a growing. You have to grow and go with it, because you'll be using it for a while, and be like, oh, why do we have this? Let's change that, let's do this. So just be open-minded to it. Any suggestions and changes, let's discuss it, because we always go in our way with one direction, thinking that's how it's going to be, but then as we're using it, you're like, oh, yeah, that's not gonna work. Let's segue to this, let's do different, you have to always adjust.
Let me ask one more question.
Sure.
If Jim is out on the road and on Thursday at his time out at 5 o'clock, but he's 3 miles away from the shop, does he eat that time or does he clock in when he gets back and then we pay overtime?
Well, I think he would depending on how that was, he would, like he said, he would adjust his time to whatever.
But so
If-
that it
if you-
shows, but it would still show the time I worked, but then
Yeah.
the next day I worked the 9.5.
Yeah,
I'll still end up at the 40 hours at the end of the week.
Yeah.
So that's.
Yes.
I'm moving forward.
you're adjusting everything day by day to stay within those.
And that's
40
why I
hours.
wondered about, when you do this at like a Friday, I come into the shop or a Thursday or whatever day the end of the week is. I feel all that.
Yep. Yep, because if you don't, let's say you don't come in at all during the
Yeah.
week. Let's say I only come in once a week, it's Thursday and I'm coming to the shop, then put your hours in on Thursday. But if you
Yeah.
come in Tuesday, whatever, just while you're in town, like, yeah, my hours.
As long as it's done before with the ton, for the pay
For her.
schedule.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes.
That's what I just thought it could simplify a lot of things.
Yep.
Some of these questions about.
I mean, it all comes down-
physically Doing it every day.
And then
Right.
it comes down to Wayne
Questions?
approving everything, as long as he approves it, because he knows you guys in and out, he knows. He's gonna know if you guys are stealing hours, he is. So
Right.
no, he, if he trusts you guys, we trust you guys, so.
We've been working a long time together.
Yes,
Yeah.
and in the wintertime, you guys do start off in
Yeah,
town. So
there's
then
a-
you'll clock in in
And
town,
it
you'll clock
depends
out in
on what
town.
the weather's doing, and
Nobody
if I'm out plowing snow, I might be
Put it
starting at
every time
6
they
in the
want.
morning.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
No,
If
it's,
if
It's
not,
the
I'll
timesheet,
be
so
at the
then
shop.
once they in.
Park in there.
Yes.
It'll go right into
You
the
guys,
payroll system.
like if it's snow,
You're
you
using
snow
every time. they
and you work, obviously you're gonna work, if it's a,
If you
it's
can't trust
snow.
Right.
You, then it just goes.
We're gonna
into
trust
overtime, Cause you
Huh?
guys snow until, you plow until dark.
Well, then I'd get.
Try to.
Yeah,
but then the following day or whatever else, you make up for some of that depending on,
Well,
correct?
You might leave work early, you might come
Yeah.
start later, or
If it takes a day to do the county roads.
Yes.
and then
But I mean-
All my townships start calling in, so I can maybe get 2 a day.
Yeah,
It depends on, sometimes it was 1 a day, one township back in the bad days. So there's gonna be overtime.
Yeah.
yeah,
On a
yeah,
bad winter, there's no way around that.
absolutely, but we've got budget for that.
Yeah.
but like you could spend 3 days moving snow, working 12-hour shift, and the next 2 days, you'll adjust your 2 days from there to stay within your 40,
I could
correct?
do that.
And then, if there's overtime, all you gotta do is say, hey, Wayne, we're gonna have overtime on this, and like Wayne says, he either approves it and he's got it work to do a schedule for stuff like that.
Depending on if there's stuff to fix at the shop or on.
Yeah, and that's under, to me, that overtime deal is on Wayne's side because he's the road supervisor and he's the one who approves all that, so I'm not too worried about that either. We wanna make sure everything is just laid out for you guys, and then, Wayne comes, okay, yep, you guys are good to go, here's, you say, I was gone 3 days, here's my hours, put it in, done. You guys don't have to.
I'd be Happy working 313s in the summertime.
Yeah.
As long as it didn't affect somebody else's schedule.
Yeah.
If someone was graveling on my area or whatever.
Yeah.
Just so we get the time and the work done.
Yeah.
Yep.
Of your-
as long as 40 hours done in the week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the winter, it's a little hard because you don't know when it's gonna snow.
Yeah.
That's the hard part. And well, even in the summer, you have rain days, so you
Exactly.
can't do some of these gravel and rain days. So if you know rain is coming, if you wanna put a few more hours in because you know rain is coming, feel free to.
Well, no, that
That's-
sometimes too, it's like, well, what you're gonna do is, let's say you gotta spend an hour just to finish up an extra road. It's easier spending that extra hour, finish the road, and then deducting that time the next day, because you're not making those extra trips back and forth. To me, that's wasting time and wasting money. So it's a way better benefit for you guys to do that.
Time I'll start at the very farthest point of and work my way back.
Yeah.
So if I can't finish that road, I have the shortest route to finish the
Yeah.
next day. Just stuff like
Yeah,
that.
as long as Wayne's okay with that, and I mean, I don't see why it's just the biggest thing, get your hours in, get it approved. I understand this digital stuff does kind of suck, but it does make, like in the long run, it'll make it easier for you guys to keep track of everything too, so.
Well, Wayne already trusts him, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, the way it's been.
Well, yeah, this time clock isn't anything about trust, it is just to make Sam payroll and everything.
Streamline.
Oh, absolutely, streamline it.
Yeah.
It's 2026.
Yeah.
Paper is of the past. Okay, since we are changing that to a time clock instead of handwriting it, and non-exempt employees, and in the red, it says are to required to clock in and clock out at the beginning and end of every shift. And of course, that does mean that you put yours in later. And then overtime work must always be approved. Okay, that's always been in there, so I didn't change that. And then exempt employees are strongly encouraged to clock in and clock out at the beginning and the end of every shift.
exempt employees' working hours will be tracked solely for the purpose of timekeeping. We can't force town exempt people to do a time clock. This is just that's why I put strongly encouraged. So that it is for themselves and for, to keep track of their own hours.
You mean like elected officials or what?
Right.
You know what, if us elected officials clocked in and out, boy, I'd be paid overtime,
No, but that's what I mean, it's,
but yes.
so some of that is just so they can keep track of their own. time.
Yep, for sound, and there's only 3, 4. I don't know how to do Jamie, but the three of,
Well, and Jamie even, I mean, I could
I
be,
keep
wrong.
track of
Yeah.
I've kept track of my time since it started. I have calendars. I looked the other day, it's like this thick in my desk drawer because I've kept track of it since it started, because I thought at some point if someone questioned what I
Questions,
was here
things.
for, I had it.
yep. So this would be for auditors, treasurer, and Kelly's office.
My plan is to punch in, whether that's, might not always be at home when I punch in. It might be a day where I spend 6 hours on the phone with Stephanie trying to figure something out, but my plan is to punch in. I don't plan on, I plan on continuing to keep track of my time.
Good, thank you. So with that, I do need a motion to change this to update the verbiage on that.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, motion by Rod to update the timekeeping policy. Can I get a second?
Awesome.
Second by Josh. Is there any other discussion? Any discussion? Any other discussion? Barring none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, I'm almost done. Almost done. Okay, so pay dates. In visiting with this, we're gonna have to change the pay dates, because now that we're all electronic, it's hard to process payroll. The pay dates get to process payroll before the pay period's over. So to change that, we have to change the pay dates. And with doing that, Sam visit the rest of the people. I don't know if the road department's still the same, but she would like to run it instead of bi-weekly, which to have it ran bi-weekly.
Bi-monthly.
Instead of running it bi-monthly.
No, we were bi-monthly. We want to do it
Yep.
bi-weekly.
Yep, you'd rather run it bi-weekly.
Yeah, you just had it
Oh,
backwards. You're
it's
fine.
backwards. I typed it backwards. I'm sorry.
No, you have it right. Staff would like to change payroll to bi-weekly.
Yep.
And right
it's
now we are
bi-weekly.
already bi-monthly.
Yep, and the only difference is to explain that. The first 2 weeks' work gets paid on the following Friday, and then the next 2 weeks' work gets paid on the following Friday. So you get 26 payrolls instead of 24. That is the only difference, and it's just every other Friday is a pay date. And Sam, she said, if we can change that, that would be great. If we're gonna change pay dates, let's change it to bi-weekly. I don't care, it's not, everything runs the same. And if we do change that, we want it effective July 1st, because that will be after the election, because it'll be kind of hard and that gives everybody enough time, if they have automatic withdrawals out of their checking accounts, to be able to change their ACH dates and such, to be prepared for it.
So right now I'm just wanting everybody, like all the employees, when we start getting them onto the time clocks, we'll let them kind of, we'll bite that bit right now. We'll, get all the glitches out of the time clocks. We'll start that. And then, let me concentrate on the election. July 1st, we can implement this new payroll schedule. That'll give me a little bit more time in between the general and the primary and the general election to get these payroll dates kind of switched over and
And that
stuff.
also gets her more days to process the payroll. Instead of 4 days, it gives her that whole next week to be able to process that payroll.
You just get it, what, like 5 days later than normal or whatever else the following week?
Okay, are you guys, if you guys are okay with this, I need a motion. You guys like that? You guys okay?
Yep. I'll make that motion.
Okay, Josh makes a motion to change our pay dates to bi-weekly. I need a second. Second by Scott. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Barring none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Just so you know, Sam and I will update this pay dates and we'll bring it to you guys again. I promise it'll be a short and sweet day.
You just have to input it right on there and then for us to approve it as inputted, right?
Yes,
Right.
it'll just be, hey, this is what the bi-weekly means.
So I've asked that the time clock system, all of that, kind of the policy, just be in a working document just as we get going, and we can switch it as we're going, like when we come up with this glitch for Jim, or okay, it was, they were out on the road and they couldn't get service at this place. Let's just have it be kind of a working document where I bring to you guys the problems, we figure out what we need to do for the policy manual, but right now, it's just in the works right now until we get
Any
going.
changes to the policy of the process that's not detailed in the book is good.
Well, I think as long as these guys get paid, I think that's all they care.
Yeah, they all
about.
don't care, they just want to be paid, yes. Okay, employee conduct, and work rules, inclement weather. In there, the discussion last month was, or last meeting, not last month, was due to closing the courthouse, due to weather, we've decided upon the sheriff, road department and chairman. The question that came to be was, should the courthouse be closed? Should they close it? Once the courthouse is closed due to weather, do you pay the employees for not being here? Or if the courthouse is closed, the employees have to use their vacation time or go without pay? Now, the discussion here is it fair that if we don't let the employee who is going to come to work, not because of the storm, because they were in town and we closed the whole thing, and Maddie's that was willing to still come in but can't because we closed the courthouse, do we still pay her? Well, Maddie's actually elected, so it doesn't matter, but let's pretend she's hourly. Do we pay her for the hours that she can't work? Or if we decide to start the courthouse at noon, open the courthouse at noon because of weather, do we pay the people those hours beforehand that they weren't here because they couldn't be here because we forced them to not be here? And then on the other hand, the other devil's advocate here, why you pay them? They aren't working.
Yeah, it's true.
And on the other hand, it's like we already budgeted for that and they probably would have been to work or probably might have gone through.
But we closed the courthouse.
Yeah, but we closed the courthouse.
Correct.
I had Sam send out an email, and this only affects 4 deputies. I should say only, but this affects 4 deputies' pay. And I had Sam send out emails to the other counties to find out what do they do. And Sam came back and most of them do this. They do, if they close the courthouse due to weather, let's say it got crappy in the afternoon, you decided to close at 2, they sent their staff home and paid them for the extra 2 hours.
Correct.
They did not pay them if, like, let's say, my deputy decides not to come in because of weather, but we're still open. She would then have to take that vacation leave.
Yeah, and that's what it says up here up top. The current policy does say that let's say the weather's terrible and
Even if it's open and they decide not to come in, that's their own personal deal. So
Then that's on them. It wouldn't be, yeah.
but if we close it, say we close it early, storm's coming in, send everybody home at 2 to make sure they're safe, do we pay them the extra 2 hours? I am not opposed either way. I personally kind of lean towards that if we're gonna have to close the courthouse and not let them, just give them the hours, but.
What about other businesses like the bank and, the other places in town? I mean, I don't think they pay their employees if they're not there.
I don't know, I didn't ask them, I just asked.
I'm just getting,
Yeah.
I mean,
I just asked the other counties, had to ask the other counties what they do if they are close the courthouse, which this year they closed it 1.5 times, was
I
it?
think that's what it was.
Yeah.
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 my thing is, and maybe I'm not on the side of it, but when we got like the road department that we asked to come in on storm days and work, and then we're gonna pay somebody else not to come in and work. And then we just heard how much our sheriff department works and
Mhm.
so, that's my thought on it.
Well, if we lock them out, I don't know why we should penalize it. That's my,
Well, but how many people work from home or could work from home?
None of the deputies can work from home,
Okay.
can they?
No, I don't have another laptop for Emily to work from home. And I mean, we could work from home, us department heads. I'm not set up at all times to be working from home. My laptop's right here. So if I'm gonna work from home, I would have to be set up for that. There's times that I do that, with my girls and stuff like that. If they're sick for a while, I'll bring my laptop home. I'm working from home, but I'm not set up for that as it snowed last night. We're not open.
And we don't have a lot of storm days.
No, it's
So
very
it's
rare.
just the time when it does happen and, yeah, and the discussion was, before, if my husband can make it across town to go to work,
Yeah.
you know, so can the people that are in town be able to come up to work. So
Exactly.
we've discussed
Correct.
that already to be like, hey, let's have that mindset. You know, when we discuss about it, the being open in the courthouse. The thought was we're gonna close it, so people don't encourage to come in for foot traffic. But there is a lot more business to be had in the courthouse besides foot traffic. So it's not like a retail store where their only business is people coming in.
Exactly.
You know, there's a lot, there's phone calls still, there's paperwork, there's filings, there's due dates, there's table to be ran, you know, there's things that still can be done. So if Brandy can make it to work, and by God, that man's gonna make it through a storm anyways to go over there, but if they can make it to work, you know, that should we be able to keep the courthouse open? That was kind of part of the discussion.
Well, I think the red line there it talks about when it should be closed or
Yep.
open or whatever.
Yep.
I do have somebody that's listening online and they said that they did get paid at the bank for, if the bank was
Okay.
closed.
Oh, thank you, online person that's listening.
Oh, my question is, we could do that and as a incentive working for the county, because I know the biggest thing is we're trying to stay a little bit more competitive, keep people here.
Okay.
I mean.
I'd like to
that-
make just one little comparison.
Yep.
Okay,
Earlier when you're talking about our holiday pay, hours paid, not worked.
Yep. And then you have this. So it's kind of a little, if they get the extra 12 hours, we should be able to pay these guys for. If
so you
they're
guys are getting a
not-
little extra there where
having
these
to
guys are
work.
getting a little
Yeah,
extra
if
here.
you're gonna take that away from us, then why should they get it?
Right, but we're not, but yes, great point. Okay, could I get a motion either way from somebody on this? Any more discussions on that? I do like what Rodney said is that, you know, they get the extra 12 hours for holiday because of the 10-hour shifts. You know, which doesn't happen very often, that we close the courthouse. But if we do, because we had a winter like we did, and what year was that? 2020? 2023. I've never seen so much snow. Not since 97.
Yeah, don't go there.
That was a terrible year.
Well, what are we looking at, the top one there,
I am looking at,
adding that?
I need to add this in there for sure, but then I need to know that, should we add which one of these two blurbs?
Well, that,
Or
yeah,
two
that,
suggestions, which one? Should the courthouse be closed due to whether the employees will be paid for the regular scheduled shift? Or do you want it to say, if the courthouse is closed due to whether the employee will choose to whether to use vacation or leave without pay? I need to know which one to add with this.
Can we do something where it's like a number of days? If we go over so many days, you know,
I
like.
can add whatever words
Well,
you want me to
well,
add.
basically what I'm saying, it's kind of like what we talked about, you know, it's one thing as a day here, or day there during the winter, but like they said, you know, we get a bad winter, well, they're closing the courthouse weekly or once a month, that gets to be a lot of paid time off.
well, I don't think we're gonna look at that often.
You never know, it is North Dakota.
Well,
Do you want to
we
say,
can
Up
talk about the
to-
what
Up
ifs all
to
we
so many
want.
days?
well, I would just thinking, you know,
hours?
when you're saying employees will be paid for the regular schedule. So our road department, they're not able to come in, they're getting their pay too. I'm just saying, like, cause at the bottom, you're saying affects the 4 deputies.
Oh, so should I say, oh, no, but they don't. The court, how do you, oh, you want me to change the words instead?
Well, I'm just wondering, no, I'm just
To make
wondering,
sure
cause
it says
you know, with,
courthouse employees?
let's say like it's really bad, the road department isn't going out until it stops snowing. Would their offices be closed? They would get that pay too, or are you just saying that it's gonna affect those 4 deputies?
I don't know.
Because
That's a
You're
good
talking
comment.
about the courthouse, so not.
Right, and so that's what I'm saying is like, do you wanna say courthouse employees? Do you want, or is it all county employees?
That's So here, the employee, it should say the.
The courthouse employees or?
Okay.
Right.
But there should be a
Let me write
limit.
that down on my little note pad here.
I think there should be a limit on days. Like, you know, if we get a really bad winter, you guys, like I said, are closing all the time.
Well, that
Well,
don't happen very
but it
often.
should almost go the other way, you know, it should go so many days prior, then after those many days, then we kick in. You know, let's just use, for example, say 5 days after 5 days of closing, then we'll start paying. You know,
Yeah,
because
but
usually your benefits,
We might not. I'm just saying, we don't, this year we didn't have many days. I mean, I don't think this will be happening a lot, so I don't know if we need.
I don't think that we need to penalize the employees just because the weather is where we close it. And it says that it's gotta be the sheriff and the chairman, you gotta be the one to
Yeah.
approve it.
Yep.
And if you don't approve it, they're on their own anyhow.
Yeah, yeah, your point is, you know,
The road department, they call us essential employees.
same
Yep.
as, same as
I
sheriff.
mean, we're supposed to get to work if we can.
Yep.
But Stephanie's gotta approve, but it says here basically,
And I'll tell Jim, I stay
I stay with my
Machine.
machine,
in case there's a problem,
and so is,
same with Jeff.
so is.
Stay in Benford until it lets up or whatever.
or the ambulance calls you
School
out.
bus needs somewhere, ambulance
Yeah.
needs somebody, plow road.
yeah, you guys are kind of
So
almost
that's
like
what
the
you
sheriff.
are.
department,
You are.
You're on call.
So most days I'm here.
But I think
5 days.
the way it's looking to me is in order for the courthouse to be closed, they gotta call Stephanie to, for
Yep.
her to say, yes, we wanna close it, or no, we don't. Then
Correct.
if they don't come in, then they're on, then then they gotta take sick leave anyhow.
Right, it's figured out if they decide, let's say Christie's in Benford, or Christie's at home and it storms and she can't make it to town, but the rest of the people can come to town,
She's gotta take time
that's
off.
Christie's gonna take vacation.
Yep.
But let's say Christie's at home and then it's a really terrible storm day and we decide, let's keep the courthouse closed till noon. Or whatever, 10 o'clock or whatever, just
Mhm.
kind of like
Mhm.
school's 2 hours late, well, that's probably not, we're gonna go by, but I've just thrown that as an example. Let's say we're gonna open late. And it cleared up by noon, we can come to work. And let's say that happens, well, then Christie would be paid for the hours at home and then she could come to work. Or if she doesn't decide to stay home still, she'd have to be, when the courthouse does open, she'll have to take time off or no pay on those hours.
Can you get that written that way?
And also
Yes.
let it be known that if something needs to be done, during that one snowstorm, I came in, got here, I was still doing my job, still got the tax statements out, all the things like it, just because it's closed or, whatever, doesn't mean that the employees aren't gonna get payroll, like us department heads.
And we have Chad in town that's been doing a really good job. Before, the problem was we didn't have anybody to, it was hard to get the road department to clean the courthouse when they're being pulled out 10 different ways already for staff to come in. Now we have Chad, so Chad can get up here and clean the courthouse and make that a priority for people to come in.
To get them in.
Yep, to get them to come in, because before they were saying, it's just too hard for,
I never got a call this year.
you never got a call this year.
Before I would get a phone call that it was dirty or it's too deep of snow, so yeah, good
Yes.
job, Chad.
What I will do is I will reword this. However you want me to, let's make a motion as to if we approve it or not, and then I can rewrite the words and we can bring this back up again to proof the rough draft of the words, to be exactly how you want it to be.
I would rather have you bring it up to us and then we approve it.
But which way do you want it to be?
I would like the top one there, the top blue line.
The courthouse with whether employees are paid for their time if they're sent home?
I'll back Lauren in that one.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, I will update the policy with the top line, and then we can make the motion on that.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. I'm almost done.
Gotta start bringing dinner.
I'm gonna start having to order lunch. I'm gonna start having to buy
Can you order
lunch.
Pizza Ranch? Just kidding.
Okay, in
The one
here.
year.
Yeah, we did that one
I'm
year. That's
going
right, we
to the
did.
categories for the employment. We discussed last month about if they're 30 hours a week, we will not pay 100% of their portion of health insurance. That was a discussion. I didn't feel to put that back in there and ask again, because I think we had enough people not being interested in it to make any motion. But what I would like to do is I would like to put the example on there, because right now it says prorated percentage. Regular part-time employees are eligible for prorated percentage. So what does that mean? So I wanted that detailed in there, so it was clarified. So it states based on the hours worked, For example, a 4/5, 30 hours a week employee, the county pays 80% of their portion of their insurance. So that's
already happening.
That's already happening. I just wanted to have it in there so it's clarified what prorated means, because prorated could be a lot of different things. I wanted the example in there so that everybody has that. And this was the discussion from last time, that if we did pay 100% 30 hours on a person who does work 30 hours a week, it would be 2,336 a year, because it's 194 a month that deputy does pay for. But otherwise it's 8%. But can I get a motion to approve what's in the red to be added, the description into the employee handbook?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, motion by Josh to approve the updated words. Can I get a second?
I'll second. Oh,
No, just fine. Go ahead.
Second by
I'll
Scott. Any
second.
discussion? Rod, what you got?
Just on the 20, I was just reading down the 20 hours, like now the part-time that we have at. Like on the,
19 hours we have her at.
Correct.
And I feel bad because the minute we I would love to give the extension office more hours for their deputy, but the minute that we do, the costs goes
Yep.
up a lot because even though they don't pay 100% of their insurance, or the county does not pay 100% of their insurance, we still have to pay some of it, which of course increases the
Yep.
costs.
Are they still eligible to get honor insurance and all that, even if they have to pay a little bit?
No.
They have to be 20 hours.
Oh, they have, okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
I wish it wasn't 20.
Well, no, I mean,
yeah,
I wish they still had that option, like, okay, yeah, you can still be on it, but you're paying for it type of deal.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But it's so expensive that it's.
Yeah, no, I
It's
understand.
hard to pick up another group plan.
yep.
So any other discussion on that? Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
I,
Opposed, same sign. That's it. But I will be bringing back the time card review, because after Sam starts working up the courts, how the time cards are to be reviewed, we need to change that because the current policies talks about paper. And then I'm going to bring back the payroll processing, like reading the paperwork, and then I'll also bring back this policy with the.
Updated verbiage,
With the
yeah.
weather, yep. And you guys wanted to say the courthouse employee will be paid for the regular scheduled shift. Is that what you guys would like to see?
Yeah.
Okay, I will put that in red along with the rest of it.
that sounds good.
So that's everything that I have.
I got one other thing, just because I've heard it a few times, that the difference between the road department working 40 hours and the staff up here working 37 and a half. But the point I'm trying to make is they're all paid by the hour. If you work 40 hours, you get paid for 40 hours. If you work 37 and a half hours, you paid for 37 and a half. It isn't a monthly wage. And if you figure it out, the difference between the county or the office and the road is $55 a week. Or they get paid basically $220 more a month, which amounts to $2,860 a year, that the road department gets more than the office people. It's just something, just so that.
But I think one of the things that has been brought up is that the 37 and a half hours, if I'm correct on this, is that they're getting, is it benefits off of 40?
No.
It's not.
No, so the only benefit that we get is the health insurance.
That's-
100%, yep,
mean-
so 100% of
That's-
the single policy gets paid for with the 37 and the 40.
Yep.
But, with the retirement, it's all based off of your salary. It's percentage of
Yeah,
your salary.
but what I
So
meant
they
my
would,
benefit was the health insurance.
yep, so it's just a single policy, yep.
If I remember right, which I can be corrected, there was one time when the office gave up something in order to go to the 37 and a half.
It's ever since I've been here, it's always been.
Well,
37
but
and a half.
it was.
He was
before-
thinking before, like
that.
when we actually moved to the 37 and a half.
There was a time when they asked to go to 37, but the county commission, they had to give up something, and I'm not even sure.
I don't know what.
I
that
just
was.
remember
Huh.
something in the back of my mind talks about that, or
Hmm.
that I remembered that the office people gave up something in order to go to that. And it isn't that important, but I think that happened at one time when they asked for the 37 and a half. But I just know they're being paid, everybody's being paid by the hour
Yep,
rather than by the month. I brought it up as information.
I like the information. Okay, anything else on employee manual? Okay, I would like to bring Jamie over because we're going to discuss zoning if Jamie's ready for that.
Yeah.
So this is gonna be tabled until the next meeting to bring up further.
Well, some of them were passed through, but yes, on the future meeting, we're going to bring the employee manual and such. Thank you, Rodney, for coming. Thank you.
betcha.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. Yeah, thank you guys.
Yep. You all ready? Just, well, I got a couple different things, I guess. I got zoning and emergency manager. I probably should get Mackenzie in here for emergency manager, but I guess zoning, I want you guys to, I don't really have anything in particular to talk with you guys about zoning, other than back in 2013, the county got rid of zoning. We used to have a zoning person, it used to be Connie McKenzie. And we haven't had zoning since then, left it up to the townships to have zoning. I think times are changing in North Dakota. I think it's something that we need to look at as a county, not countywide zoning, but not to prohibit people from building farm buildings or building houses. But I think we need to start looking at some of the new outside investments that are coming into our area. And some of the growing pains that there have been around. And I guess what I'm talking about is data centers, wind towers, and solar farms and big batteries. So, well, pig farm, confined feeding operations, they're governed by the state, and we can't be any more strict than the state is. So the state health department, or I think it's the State Department of Environmental Quality, I think that governs them. I don't think that's a huge area that we need to really take a look at, because they do have the regulations for that already. But we're kind of behind the times in North Dakota, especially if you look up the center of the state. You go to the east side of the state, you have Cass County and Trail County and Grand Forks County. They have they have zoning. They've had zoning forever. I think Cass County actually doesn't have countywide zoning, but I think every one of their townships has zoning regulations. Grand Forks County, I know, has zoning regulations because I've worked with Haley, the state's attorney up there, on some stuff for Nelson County. But we're getting into a situation where I don't think it's a matter of if we have some big development here, it's when. I don't know if you guys have been following the news in the western part of the state. In Williams County and Williston, there's a data center. There's been some lawsuits over the noise from that one. Right now, there's some development from Applied Digital that's going in, or that there's a fight over right now, I should say, in Oliver County. So right outside the center, like 6 miles outside the center. They were behind the 8 ball. They're behind the 8 ball now. They were behind the times in zoning. So there's a fight. There was actually a county commissioner that resigned last week over threats because of the data center. Applied Digital built one down in Ellendale, and they're going to continue to build. I think their first building was like $1 billion. They're working on that. There's 1,200 people there. They've done some annexation where there's a fight between really the township and the city of Ellendale because of the way things have been handled down there. There's a new Applied Digital one going in by Harwood. So if there's transmission lines and there's power around, we're probably, there's a chance that we could have one here as well. Which we do. So, and there are transmission lines in the county. So it's something for us, I think, to take a look at, whether it's going to be a data center or we have solar power or wind towers. I think we need to look at and battery storage. I think we need to look at maybe setting up some zoning for all 4 of those. And this isn't going to be something that we're going to do over the next month. It's going to probably take 6 months to a year to get some good zoning regulations in place. I'm in a work group right now. I'm the new Tom Moe for the Township Officers Association. So I am general counsel, and we've been working Township Officers Association of Counties, League of Cities, and a bunch of other groups have been working for pattern zoning regulations for this sort of thing. We meet maybe twice a month. So it's still something that's a work in progress. But I think that we need to at least start considering it, and you guys need to, I guess, let me know if at some point you want that work to start to commence. But it's not something that's going to happen overnight either. It's going to take some time to get it done. So maybe, I guess, for the time being, check with your townships and see if they want to do it themselves or if you guys want to be the one doing it. But I think it's something that we at least need to tackle at some time in the future.
I think we should try to do the countywide for the townships.
I agree.
Yep.
What that's gonna look like is, of course, we'll have the regulations, but we'll have to have someone as a zoning administrator. And that can be a part-time position because it's not gonna be that, there's not gonna be that much. But there is gonna be someone that is gonna have to be the figurehead of that position. Whether it's something that Sam takes on in an auditor's office, state attorney's office handles it, or someone has to handle it.
Could that be part of, my throw out on that is the emergency preparedness position. I'll let Jamie talk about that, but with that, could that be something we could mold the two positions together?
Well, I mean, yes,
Or no?
potentially. Yeah, it could be. The one thing I don't want to lose Mackenzie as my assistant in my office, so I kind of want to say I don't want to throw a bunch of extra work at her either.
Okay.
But I guess it's something for us to talk about and think about and throw some plans out there or throw some thoughts out there. It's not something that has to happen right now. It doesn't have to happen until we adopt zoning measures. And like I said, I think that's probably 6 months to a year out for us adopting zoning ordinances. So yeah, it's something for you guys to think about. And if you guys don't want to do it, you don't have to do it, but think about it, talk to your constituents and see what they think. But seeing what's going on in the state, it has me concerned. And what I will tell you also is that zoning isn't going to essentially say that you can't come into our county. That's not what zoning is meant to do, but it's meant to protect the landowners and the people that are here. So we can't have a setback for a data center that essentially says, all right, you have to be 13 miles away from anything that's inhabited. That's not going to work. It's not going to stand up in court. But there are reasonable setbacks and there's standards that have been set up so we can apply those. But we want to protect people from having shadows and the noise of windmills as much as we can, or the noise of data centers as much as we can. We want to make sure that the fire departments are protected for the big storage batteries, because they're big lithium batteries that right now there's not really a good way to solve a fire in the way it sounds. And so those are things that we need to think about, but I think that we at least need to start thinking about them. I would encourage anybody to start just Google Oliver County, because it's been a mess. I have a buddy that actually works at the power plant out there, and I spent some time speaking with it last week. And it's one of these types of things are kind of the haves and have-nots. So the people that get the money out of it, of course, are going to be big proponents of it, and the people that lose out are going to be the ones that are opposed to it. But it's definitely caused some problem out in the community out there, and they're working on new zoning ordinances as they're trying to get this thing developed, so it turns into a mess. So I think it's just something that we want to take a look at and work on.
An ordinance beforehand would be a lot better than trying to.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, it would be.
Sam doesn't care. if
I
he
do
gets
get
another
a
job.
lot of calls, from people. What are your zoning regulations? What are your permit regulations? And right now, Griggs County doesn't have any, and it's the individual townships have their own zoning stuff.
And like I said, I don't think that we need a zone. We need to have any zoning in particular for residential development or agricultural development. But I think that this new stuff that's coming, I think there's so much money at play, and they have they have so much money to kind of push their weight around. So if we don't have something to protect the citizens, we're gonna end up in trouble, I think.
Well, what you're saying is if they, by the time you figure it out, they're already in place and you can't do anything much.
Well,
against it,
I
correct?
mean, by the time you figure it out,
Yeah.
they're here.
They're ahead of
and-
the game already.
And they're way ahead of you. And that's what's happened in every one of these places. It's caught everybody kind of off guard. And there's been some big fights. And none of us really know enough about zone. I would say the attorneys for Applied Digital probably know more about zoning laws than any state's attorney or any city attorney in the state of North Dakota. So we're fighting probably $1,000 an hour attorneys that know absolutely everything there is to know about it. So at least if we're halfway prepared, it'll make it a lot easier for the county.
How much work would it be for you to start on this?
Well, with your instruction, I will.
Is there anything back in what McKinsey had in place in 2030? Is there any guidelines? from
No,
there?
there's this stuff, maybe wind towers,
That was it.
maybe wind towers and pipelines, but
Okay.
you know, there was no data centers at the time.
Yeah.
There were no batteries or
Anything.
windmills.
There's a lot difference with that. I mean, I get what you're saying and basically you're saying that each one of these has their own regulations and their own problems, so we should look at rules in place for each.
Yeah, I mean, it's all new and it's all. I guess what I've been telling people is they're not necessarily companies that have the same. I shouldn't say morals, but they're not North Dakota nice necessarily. They don't have the handshake agreements. They just won't say, hey, we'll work it out. We'll figure it out somehow. That's not how these work because they're putting up $1 billion facilities. So they definitely have a different background than we do in North Dakota. So I think that we need to be as prepared as we can for them. So yeah, I mean, my goal is to work on something and over the summer. I'll tell you right now, over the next 6 weeks or so, when we're in the field, I won't be working on them. But I think I can put something together and I've been working on it already, for the township officers thing. And, yeah, I guess won't lie. I'm going to take a pile of different zoning ordinances that I find and make a hybrid that's going to fit us the best. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
You
it's
need a
going to take some
directive
time
to
to
do
put
that?
together, but
Correct.
what's that?
Do you need a directive to do that from us? Or,
Well, yeah, I think I need a directive from you guys to start to work on it and come with. I mean, I just don't want to come with zoning ordinances and say, hey, county commission, I think you should do this. You have to adopt it. I mean, first of all, I think you guys should talk to the constituents of the county and do some thinking about it yourself. I didn't come here for an answer today. I came here as more an informational session, I guess, to give you guys information, tell you what I think. But I want you guys to do some fact gathering yourself. Hop on the Google machine and look up Ellendale Applied Digital, look up Williams County Data Center and the new one in Oliver County, look up the one that's in Harwood. I was adamantly against these things. They're coming. So I don't know if we're against them or not. They're going to be coming, but we need to protect ourselves. One of the biggest things that I'm concerned about is they're huge energy monsters. Like the one that's going in at Oliver County, I think they said that they're going to take 1,000 megawatts of energy, and that whole coal fire plant in Center can produces 750 megawatts of power. So they are going to be energy hogs, and that's my one biggest concern is that what it's going to do to the infrastructure cost for everybody else around here that's on fixed incomes or anybody that uses power. That would be a concern of mine. They are supposed to be coming up with their own generation methods to some natural gas generation methods. So we'll see what happens, and maybe we'll never have one, but at least I think that we need to be prepared. When I was out at the Association of Counties conference, data centers were a huge topic. I went to 2 or 3 different seminars regarding data centers. And there's one county, I think it's Laurel County in Virginia. It's right outside Washington, D.C. They have 200 data centers within a 10-mile radius. So they're probably the ones that have had the most. But I thought North Dakota was kind of a pioneer in receiving data centers, but we're not. But they're gonna continue coming because land is cheaper and easier to get to. And our climate is better for them for cooling their systems, so. It's not something that's gonna stop. We're gonna have a pile more here. And North Dakota or Griggs County could be in a situation where we get some.
If you want my opinion, I think it would be better for the county to be working on this rather than if you go to the townships, I
It's-
don't know that they're gonna,
They don't have the resources that.
Right, they don't have the
It probably won't,
resources.
to be honest, it probably will not get done.
yeah.
Then that's one of the things I'm working on for the townships. I haven't really had the directive, but I know people are gonna start asking me if I have zoning regulations for townships too. So, yeah, I guess that's my plan is to start working on some of this stuff, but like I said, probably the next 6 weeks, it's probably not gonna happen. I do have a couple trials scheduled, and of course, as everybody knows, I farm as well. So, I'm gonna be stretched pretty thin for a while, but it's something that we do need to start working on.
As long as we can, when you come, you can maybe give us an update as the time.
Yeah.
goes on.
Well, I would say probably, I guess I wouldn't expect it from me until this fall. But I'll throw some updates to you guys, I guess.
Work on it as you have your leisure time. Yes, thank you. I like that.
One more thing about zoning is you can't, like I said, you can't essentially zone something out of the county, but you can make sure that you protect yourselves, and that's our duty, so.
Do you want us to like make a motion or just say, hey, go ahead, or what do you?
Well, like I said, I think it gets brought up at the next commission meeting. I think you guys check with constituents and see if that's something that they want, because I mean, we haven't had zoning in Griggs County for just about 13 years now. So do some checking, and maybe people are listening to this, the meeting will give some input too, but I don't think it needs to cover everything, but I do think some of this development stuff it does. So check and see what you guys think.
Sounds good. Do you want us to put it on the next meeting? Do you guys want to have it on the
I
next
think
meeting
we
then?
should.
Yeah.
Okay,
Briefly.
thank you. The next
Thank you,
topic.
Jamie.
Thank you.
Yes, the next topic is emergency preparedness position. We would like to apply for the grant that will pay for half of the wages of the employee, of the emergency preparedness manager, the EM they call it. And Jamie being busy just doesn't have and it does require you to do quite a bit of work throughout the year to send in, which is great for the county. It's just not great for Jamie because he's busy. He's packed full.
So it requires a bunch of reporting, and so Annie was keeping up with the reporting until I didn't have Annie anymore. And I'm just not able to keep up with the reporting and the duties. So, with that said, Mackenzie has been starting to work on the role. The role has been within the office. It was just given to the state's attorney's office, and I was the emergency manager. I guess I would just ask that it still be kept within the office, but be able to name Mackenzie the emergency manager. And if she needs help, I guess I can help out. But I think that's probably the appropriate thing to do. The pay isn't super high. I think I was making like $400 a month doing it.
What's the budget have it for a month? The discussion to have is, since it is a hired employee from the commission, do we want to open it up and put it on the market to see if anybody wants to apply for the position? Or, and then go from there, see applicants, or just not open it up and then just a Mackenzie? I do know off the top of my head that there has been people who have came to my attention and said they'd be interested in the position, but that is completely up to you guys. If you guys want to just appoint it, carry on, or do you want to open it to make the position more? I did talk to another county that they have full-time people for we might not need a full-time person, but that person also does other things like grant writing and, those things for the county. And it's like, maybe we want to revamp that position to be, more than just emergency preparedness and do other things such as, because we don't have a grant writer, and that would be fantastic to have somebody help with that, but.
So I guess I can tell you within my office, I mean, Mackenzie's there every day. I think that I think it's a good fit for within the state's attorney's office for my assistant. Because it's not a job that you have to, I shouldn't say I shouldn't have to be there every day, but it's not a job that there's a work requirement every day. But she would have the ability to fill her time now that she's gotten trained in and is more familiar with the state's attorney's job. She would be able to fill the time where she might have some extra time with duties from the emergency management office.
Right.
How many hours is Mackenzie now?
She's 37 and a half.
So, a question for you, Jamie. We can't appoint her, right? We don't have to.
Right.
There's,
Yeah.
there's no,
Well,
there's nothing, my question to you is that we don't have to open it up, do we not?
No, it
Okay, that's
it
my
actually
question.
can just still be given to my office and then
Yeah.
given to the state's attorney's assistant. It
Yeah,
doesn't have to be-
that's my point.
It
Yeah.
can't go, Jamie can't have any name part of it. It needs to be the employee manager will be a different person.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Jamie
gotcha.
won't have, it won't be yours.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
So the
It's,
budget is $9,147.44 for that position. And also has a little bit of like other budget in it, so
so the salary part is what, 9,000?
$9,147.44. And then there's another $8,000 budgeted for
So
travel
it's
supplies.
762.28 per month. Just if you divide that by 12 per month, and then the supplies is another
8,000.
So that
8,000.
was originally split, that 9,000 was split between Annie and I. And I think Annie was actually making a little bit more money than I was when she was here. That's another thing it does require, and that's something that Mackenzie will probably be able to do much better than me, is it does require some trips out to Bismarck to work with emergency management and do some training.
Yep, there's some.
So and a lot of that's paid by the state, but not all of it, or by the feds. But it would allow for the position to go and do the training and go to the meetings. There's a monthly meeting, between the regional and emergency managers that Jolie's does. That I've been up to a few on Zoom, but I just haven't had the time to go to all of them.
Yep.
So I think that would be good for Mackenzie to be able to start doing that. And there is money there to do that, I think.
Mackenzie is currently receiving that other additional salary that Annie was making.
Right, she's getting half, she was getting.
And we stopped receiving, we were receiving we were receiving grants to pay for half of the position
Mhm.
until
last year.
until 2025.
Okay.
And it states in here, in order to apply, we have to appoint a new emergency preparedness. What I'm gonna do, because I'm gonna send this email of the information that I received from Joe Lees. He's the gentleman on that. And if you want to review it, if you have questions, call him directly, on it.
And
then we'll bring it. Yeah, Joe's great. I had a couple discussions with him. Feel free to call him if you have questions on that. I'm not a pro at this. And then we can bring it back up to the next meeting to discuss what to do with it. Does that sound better? Because it's so hard with,
That's fine, yeah.
I didn't share
So,
the information.
One,
What's that?
Is that okay with you?
Yeah, 100%.
one quick question I have then, will the money be split again?
I don't plan on taking if
So-
she needs help, I'll do it, but I don't plan on being.
Currently, these two are both being paid for the position.
Okay.
Currently, because
But.
if we want grant funds to help pay for that,
Yep.
Gotta be one person.
we have to
One
bring it
person,
down to
yeah,
one
one
person. We
person,
need to have that one person take
Oh,
over.
okay.
So right now, Jamie still is.
I'm still the emergency manager,
Yep.
so say like we
Yeah.
have a county situation like Steele County, I will be thrown in a fire and we'll have to line up water and do whatever we need to do to help.
Correct.
folks.
Yes.
But yeah, I guess I would ask that you move the position to Mackenzie and she
Okay.
take over.
Got it.
Okay, I was just wondering if we were to do the grant again,
Yeah.
is it one person or two? But
So-
anyway.
I got one, Mackenzie. I'm not saying that you're not. You feel that you can handle all this workload, stuff like that, like.
Yes, I have been working with it quite a bit and looking into it. I would like to go to Finley for a couple days and learn from Ben a little bit more because he's very, very, very hands-on with it.
We just don't want you to feel overwhelmed either. So that's the only reason
Yep.
why I asked. I don't want you to take this load on, and feel like you're overwhelmed, you can't get other stuff done. I'm not saying that you won't be able to. I just don't want you to ever feel that way.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Unless we have like huge log freezers
Disaster.
around here, no, it's
Okay.
not a problem.
Okay.
And it's, when you get the information, you'll see the requirements that it's quarterly things that they have to run,
Yeah, it's quarterly
It's
reports to be
quarterly
sent off.
reports,
Actions. Trainings. The emergency manager trains if the fire department or EMTs are willing to take a training, we are supposed to do, a live training or, a simulated training. And
desktop training.
have a meeting with, we have a local emergency planning committee. We haven't had our yearly meeting yet, but we have to have a yearly meeting with them. So there's things, it's not a full-time position, in my opinion, unless you have more duties to do within the county. But it is a position that is appropriate for an office. And actually, that's part of the reason that I have a full-time assistant was to do this work.
And she currently already is
Right.
doing the work. We're just not receiving the grant
Right.
funds for it.
But by saying, hey, we're gonna turn it over Mackenzie, I'm just using it as hypothetical.
Basically,
Just saying, hey, it's her deal.
Right,
Well, we
right.
should be able to get those grants back again.
Yeah.
Yep, yep, pretty much.
And through that grant process, it is every quarterly, they send you things that you need to accomplish.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, there's checklists, but
Joe,
she'll have to go to some training,
Yeah.
Which I think would be,
she has to be
Good.
certified. Yes, it's within the first year. Joe came and talked to these. Joe came to actually to Cooperstown and did talk to
met
him,
with her, yeah.
met with her.
Okay.
And then called me and we visited about the grant and to bring it back and how we can bring it back into the county and game plan for it. It's funds to tap into. It's wonderful. It's great to have support from the,
And it's a 50% grant?
they pay half of her salary.
Yep, okay.
Or of the person's position salary, however you guys want to do it. But I'm gonna send this out to you so you guys can read it.
Okay.
Then we can, and we'll just discuss it in the next meeting.
Yep, sounds
Sounds good.
fantastic. Yep.
I've got one question though before. The 911 coordinator, is that something that should go into this position? Or is that, I don't know what he does.
So some counties have it like that. Wayne's done it forever.
Yeah.
There's a little bit less work now with 911 because the Association of Counties took some duties on with 911 coordinator. I'm not 100% sure even what the 911 coordinator does other than goes to I think that's a quarterly meeting or.
I know that they like do up the 911 addresses, like if you were to build
Okay.
something, he will give you that address. I don't know what all that position.
And I think that's something to sit down and talk with Wayne. I really don't know what the 911 coordinator does.
Well, I just was wondering if that was something that could be moved into this position, that's all.
Well, but it's hard because Mackenzie's already got a full plate,
Yeah, correct.
you know.
Well, I think as long as
She's
Wayne's-
stepping up for this and then we add more stuff.
I
on
mean,
it.
but maybe at some point it's doable. I mean,
Right.
Wayne's here, Wayne's done it. And maybe if it gets to the point that Wayne leaves, then maybe it's something that it could be stepped up to in that office.
I was just.
That's just not if she's gonna take this on or we decide to let her, that's not overload her.
Yep. Okay,
Well, and that's kind of the reason for not coming to you guys for a while and letting her get some, her feet wet with the state's attorney stuff. And she's done an awesome job with that. So.
perfect. Thank you. Anything else for these guys on it, on the? Okay, thanks. Okay, old courthouse, new courthouse.
You still have that.
Oh, what do I have? What am I
the
skipping?
Pat Senior Citizens Mill levy
Can we
regulations.
just table
Kat-
that for next year, next week? or
Next
time?
week, Kate-
Did she ever get on?
Nope, she said that she didn't receive the link.
Okay,
I sent
just-
it
just-
again and she didn't get it. So then I sent the link,
Let's just table it for next time,
Okay, table it.
please.
Sorry, I forgot about that one.
I think that actually contacting, so this has something to do or it has probably everything to do with the Sutton Senior Citizens. With that dissolving, I did speak with Dolores Ralph about it. Jean Billings. She used to be Jean Laniger. She lives in Cooperstown. She is one of the people that was in charge of Cooperstown, as well as Gail Ralph, and she lives down in Fargo, I think, for the most part. So it might be all right to invite them in to speak about it, or someone, at least someone that represents Sutton to find out what's going on, because I'm not 100% sure that there is consensus after speaking with Dolores. There might not be consensus in dissolving Sutton, so.
Okay. Sounds good.
Fantastic. Okay, on to old courthouse, new courthouse. Anybody have anything on that?
You have something, right, Steph?
I do. I received a letter from, Lorna gave it to me, from the Historical Society. They did review it. They did submit everything to update the National Registry. They reviewed it and said they would like, there's some suggested comments for them to change, to update. And then once that's done, they'll approve that. Then our National Registry will be from 1973 to 2026. So it'll be the most updated our National Registry. So that's all I have for you guys. I'll let you guys know when that is.
So does that mean that it'll be okay to tear the courthouse down, or?
After that is approved, then they submit all of that information to say, yes, you know, if it's approved or not to take the courthouse down. I'm not saying that we're gonna take it down tomorrow. It's just that we have all the ducks in the row that if someday it needs to be done, you don't have to, this is time consuming. You know, that it's all.
It's all in place, so when the time comes, our decision gets made.
Right, and if the county ever has enough funds to do it, I mean, that's the hard part. But
I asked about the chairs. And the chairs that were in here.
Hmm.
Do we want to sell them, or do we want to put them out on bids, or
Where they at right now?
out in the shop, I guess, or in the back in the?
Nope, can't donate.
No, it can't donate, no.
can't donate, but you can sell them for $1, $10.
It's a minimum $1 and then max whoever somebody wants
Or
to
you
give,
want-
or what is that? What, is there a minimum dollar amount or?
Well, if something,
If it's-
typically if something is less than worth less than $100, it can just be sold. I don't know what the chairs are worth.
Well, they're probably worth, if you bought them brand new, they're expensive.
They're they're probably $400 or $500
Yep.
piece chairs. I don't know.
The old ones.
Yes.
And then of course take depreciation in on it and
Yeah.
everything else has been here for 10 years.
Can you sell them, or do you have to just put them on the curb and it
No,
is
no.
what it
I
is?
think you
No.
can sell them.
Don't do that.
Well, you can sell them if they're under 100. If they're de minimis value, you can sell
Yes,
them, which
correct.
de minimis value is $100, I would say.
And you can sell
So
them
it's
outside
up
of
to
it.
you guys to determine what the value of them is, or maybe if you
How
want
many
to
is
put them
there?
up on,
If
on
I
bids, I
remember
don't
right,
know.
they're 6.
How many did you need?
They'll
And
take
is
them all.
there- I don't even know.
So, I mean,
Can we just
if they take them, I
open it
don't
up
know
for
if we
bidding?
take
yeah,
them.
we could just put them up for bids, I guess. That eliminates any questions or any complaints.
Correct, it does. We had this
Yeah.
discussion before.
And then that way people will give whatever they feel is necessary and then we could decide to approve it from there, correct?
Yeah.
We don't want to put them on the,
Do we want them to be able to buy the lot or an individual chair?
And I say we do it individual chair.
The only
Oh.
thing is then it's totally up to you guys. This is just.
But it costs us to put it in the paper,
costs a
so it's gonna
lot.
cost us more than we're gonna
I know.
receive.
It does, but here's my
But
here's my
also-
intake, or my take of it, that it gives the taxpayers bought the chairs, gives
Correct.
the taxpayers the opportunity to bid on the chairs.
Well, no, that we have something that I should say, need to get rid of, but we have something there we can get rid of and we're properly disposing of the item. And I'd rather do something that's properly disposed of,
Mhm.
versus create a ruckus behind there, because that has happened.
Because if we sold it to Lauren, it'd be like, well, hey, I could have used some office chairs
Yeah,
for
that's
my
why
office
that's
too,
why-
or.
So I say do we need to put in the paper? I mean, if we have to, yeah, otherwise
Can we
I don't
just
know
put it
what.
on the website and
Yeah.
Facebook and say we have some
Well,
chairs to
to
sell?
properly do it,
Yeah.
the state law does say that it's supposed to be put in the county paper. I think you could just put a small ad in there and just say Griggs County has office chairs up for bids. See
The
the county
cheapest little ad
website.
there is.
Yeah.
And maybe what
I'll
we get
talk to
back, we'll
Amber
at least
because I
pay
know
for
that she
that.
was putting that Durango out.
Correct.
I can add it into the Durango one. I don't know when I think she probably already had it in this past week, so I think I've already.
It's not Tuesday, so maybe we can tap into that. And is there anything else in the meantime that?
Well, we just did one.
Right, I was like, is there anything else? Okay, perfect. Okay, anything else for old courthouse, new courthouse? Did you have anything, Chad, that on that? Okay,
So on those chairs, just one thing, have you checked with any other offices to see if they
They'd use them.
need chairs before they go up for bids?
True.
I'll submit that to them.
I would check.
I
with
would
road
hate to have
department too,
somebody
then.
say, I bought them and, you know. Or
Well,
that.
you never know.
Gave them to.
Couple
whatever.
office chairs.
Yeah, and then
I'm just
go
saying.
buy office chairs again, so that might be something that you want to think about.
okay. Future business, we have,
I have employee manual zoning emergency management position in the senior citizens mill levy.
anything else? We got a full docket, and I promise the employee manual won't be long.
It just wasn't the manual. There's other stuff on there that it was a much needed discussion, don't get me wrong, but that's.
For goodness sake. that's
Oh,
that long.
goodness.
It's a long one. All right, I am looking for,
That would be me.
I'll second that.
motion by Scott to adjourn, second by Rod. Any discussion, any discussion, any discussion?
No.
Barring none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Next meeting is May 4th at 9:30 a.m. Meeting ended is at 12:12